Yep, we're live. And I'm really bad with introductions, so...
Oh, you're bad at it? Don't worry, I am too. Sometimes I just skip them entirely. I'm like, you know what? No one's here anyway. Let's just get into it.
Yeah, I think we'll go with that.
let's just get into it. Let's just have a good time.
Ah, see, that's how big brains work. We don't have to be... We can skip the unnecessary parts as an entertainment. Am I... Oh, I'm not muted. Good. So there was this stream I did like a few... Last week, or was the week before. But I spoke for like 15 minutes without realizing I'm muted.
Oh!
And someone chat had to remind me that I'm muted.
Oh no, that's so awful.
That's fine. I've done worse. I've actually done worse.
No, okay, that's fair.
So there was a storm once, like really bad storm. And I decided to stream.
Oh no.
It was like, I don't know, it was like 5 frames per minute.
Oh god. Could they even understand you?
They could hear what I was saying.
Okay, that's good at least. I know sometimes with storms that even audio gets choppy.
No, so audio was perfect. It was just the video. And the funny thing was, what I was saying was taken out of context.
Oh no. That's not good.
Now, see, I tend to, when my streams tend to be more on the... If you're a kid, you shouldn't be watching.
No, that's fair. Even my Twitch streams are labeled for mature. I'm pretty sure, unless I turned that off. I hope I didn't. I talk about ass a lot.
See, that's perfectly. That's normal. That's normal.
That's normal. Good topic.
It's a really good topic. See, it's biology. It's
It's biology. It's a natural, organic work of art. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
We love the way the ass cheeks are sculpted. Excellent.
Exactly. And they come in different shapes and sizes.
Absolutely.
So it's perfectly normal. And there's nothing wrong in talking about that.
Not at all. Even when my boyfriend's yelling at me because I'm talking about his ass too much. Nothing's wrong with it. Nothing's wrong.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. Reasonable.
Okay, hi Fuji. Welcome to our TED Talk about human anatomy.
Yeah, welcome to Human Anatomy stream with 2 people
who admire the human anatomy.
We love human anatomy here. Much appreciation.
Okay, I don't know what's... Now think about, when we go with art and ass cheeks. Yeah,
I tried to segue it. I tried so hard.
The thing about asses and ass cheeks and art is, I don't know why so much classical art has that.
Oh, honestly, I don't really know either. I know for a while art wasn't seen as too much of like what's a good way to describe it? It wasn't seen as provocative as it is now. For a while it was just a thing that was. And then I think ass cheeks and nudity started getting phased out because of like religious influences and things along those lines.
But didn't they have like a naked statue of David? King David with it?
I believe they did, but I don't know if that was before or after.
No, I know the time period, but I don't know how the religious influence. I know it was during the Renaissance era. It was by Michelangelo.
Oh, if it was during the Renaissance, then it was way before the art kicked in, or not the art, the religion kicked in, and then because there's actually what's his name? Is it Bernini? Bernini's another famous sculptor who I absolutely adore. Yeah, if you look at some of his work, he's up there with Michelangelo, but I absolutely adore how he does with fabric. But he was more on the side of the church, so you'll see less nudity in his artwork compared to other artists at the time.
Yeah, like when it came to art, I like art. Okay, I like classical art. I had a hard time explaining to my college roommate that, no, I'm not attracted to said statue. I'm just admiring the art.
Yeah, no, so many people, I don't know. I think certain people are just wired to not recognize that, like, just because something's naked, it's not inherently sexual.
Yeah, and to be honest, I see, if anyone considers me being attracted to the statue of David, my tastes are better than that.
Honestly, I would look at them and I would go, well, he's got a good nose, but that's about the only thing I think attractive.
His nose is bigger than the thing down there. That much. So apparently, from what I've read, back in the day, having a big one was considered evil. I guess I don't know how to put it.
I mean, I guess that makes sense because I feel like if it's bigger, it's insinuated that there's a lot of blood flow there, so it's more vulgar.
Yeah,
And vulgar things just have never been appreciated. So.
that's true, but it's weird. I see. It's like it's been like what? It hasn't even been 500 years yet. Things have changed.
Yeah, that's true. We shift so fast, especially with technology. It's so easy for opinions on things to be influenced one way or another.
And now we have the ugly monkeys.
Listen, I can't stand NFTs. I can't stand them.
Yeah, the thing about NFTs as art is, yeah, see, I hate to say it, but yes, it is art, but it is not art that I like.
Yeah, there comes a point where it's like, well, maybe it took like creative practice. It doesn't feel like art, but I feel like so many people will argue against that though, because a lot of people have that opinion about abstract art, me included. I hate abstract art, but well, when I say abstract art, I mean like the modern minimalistic abstract art that's just like squares and like paint splatters.
Oh yeah, so the thing about that is I can't like that for one simple reason, because I can do it.
Because you can do it. I mean,
I can do it. Like, think about me when it comes to
sense.
no, but the thing about me when it comes to drawing is my hands shake a lot, like on average.
That's fair.
So just drawing a square, get a ruler. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 lines done. And
Mine's done.
And bullshit about how it speaks about the human inner mind, and throw in the golden ratio or some shit like that. Done. Art.
Oh my god, it's like, oh god, but okay, hold on. So it feels like when people do that though, it's like they just write a diary entry, and then what they do, right, is they put a little doodle on the top of the page, like little stars or little hearts, like when you're young and you're in school and you're just like doodling, and that's what abstract art feels like when they have one of those long like definitions. It's like, this is just a diary entry with a graphic. That's all this is.
And another thing is, I like that splash art thing. It's just like, go wild on the canvas.
Oh, splash art's fun, but
it's
I
fun.
think splash art's fun just because I'm a little chaotic, frankly, and I like to just like fuck it up,
But then again, one thing that I never understood is, you heard about the banana piece, right? That was a banana
I have
tape,
heard about the banana piece.
and how a tourist ate said banana.
Yeah.
So apparently, for guys who don't know, apparently there was this piece of art which is just a banana taped to the wall. Or was it a canvas?
I think it was a big canvas.
Okay, and
that was hung on a wall. I'll have to double check.
So some tourist decided to eat said banana. How expensive? Let me check.
It was. It looks like it was
to a wall. It was duct taped to a wall, and it was $20,000 for that shit, for a banana on the wall, for something that doesn't really last. Bananas get spoiled.
I mean, he had to eat it, otherwise it would have gone rotten. At this point,
exactly.
He was doing everyone a favor, otherwise
exactly.
it would have been next there.
Yeah, wasting food is wrong.
Absolutely.
It's a crime on its own.
My goodness.
And then there was this another interesting piece. I forgot the price. I think it was in Moscow or St. Petersburg, not sure. Somewhere in Russia.
Mm.
The security guard decided to doodle on top of a piece of art because he was bored.
Oh no. That's so rude. Also, why in public? Did he even have toilet paper with him, or did he just like take a shit on the art and then walk around later with like crusty underwear? From what I understood, he just drew eyes on a picture with no eyes. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. And the value For some reason, when you said he drew shit, I thought you meant he took a literal shit. I was like, what? Wait a minute. No, I think if you dig deep enough, you could find that. Oh, goodness. The world of art is crazy after all. That's true. I also remember the updated painting. There's a really famous painting with like Jesus in it where someone tried to update the face to it and they just
Oh
did
yeah,
not do a
I've
good
seen that
job.
one.
Oh my god, that
They
was
messed
so
it up.
bad. Yeah.
I don't think about fine art. Like, is it's just random. Some of them, you're like, why is it worth so much?
That's true. I'm not a big fan of fine art. However, I am a big fan of Art Nouveau. Or, I'm probably saying that wrong. Because it's a French word, and boy, am I already not literate in English.
Okay, I don't even. What exactly is that? I'm not.
So, it's art that takes elements from a lot of natural sources, and they're really big on using not necessarily valuable materials like diamonds and gems along those lines, but they will use glass and such, and they'll make that beautiful.
Oh, I'm just looking at it right now. Looks great.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Some of my favorite ones include elements of, well, like I said before, nature. I love the ones with oh my god, I can't remember the name of the piece at the moment, but artist in France. There's an artist who, well, one of the Art Nouveau artists. He actually was a jewelry maker, which is one of my favorite types of art. And he has this absolutely gorgeous dragonfly lady.
Oh, nice. So, talking about jewelry, my mom, who does art in her free time, she makes jewelry.
Oh, that's amazing. I have she's not really a grandmother, it's more like
A great aunt.
my grandfather's girlfriend.
Okay.
Like,
Okay, just family, extended family.
yeah, it's extended family, and she'll make beads and jewelry and stuff. And it was a hobby I actually had for a while, where I'd do beading for like bracelets and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Mainly because of her, and I've just always loved crafting with my hands. And I remember one time I went over and we actually we blew glass beads together, and that was kind of fun.
That's great.
Mhm.
I think about my mom and artists. She has these sudden bursts of creativity, and then she decides to take a break for like 5 years.
I feel like every artist has
Like
that.
for 5 years.
For 5 years. Oh, I had a break like that when I was younger, but that was mainly because I like art and I got into art, but I have a sibling who
Okay.
wasn't really big on me getting into art because they had gotten denied from an art school, and I guess my mother had complimented me one too many times, so they took a book I was using as a sketchbook, and they actually tore the pages I
shit.
worked out of it.
Okay.
And I ended up finding the book later with the pages torn out. I don't like that sibling.
I don't know what I want to say.
They're very rude. They actually, I probably would be a lot farther along now in the art I like to just freely create. But because of that incident, I took a break until like high school, and that happened when I was in like elementary, I think.
That's messed up, to say the least.
Yeah, no,
Because
very rude.
my relationship with my only sibling, my younger sister, is pretty, it's like there's about a 9.5 years gap between the both of us. Age gap between the both of us.
Oh,
So she refers to me as second mom when she feels shaky.
aw, that's fair. I have 3 siblings, so
Okay. Okay, that's something my mother's family.
yeah, I got 3.
She had 2 biological sisters, 1 adopted sister.
Oh yeah, no, I have 1 full brother and then 2 half siblings.
Okay. My mother's side of the family was into adoption.
Oh, I mean that's fair. That's a good
I will
cause.
say when I say adoption, it's not like a kid that's like a orphan or anything like that. It's like one of my mom's sisters was raised by her aunt and my mother's aunt, and my
Yeah,
mom's
that's
adopted sibling is actually her cousin.
Hmm.
And it was different. It was a weird family. But among all of them, my mom and my elder sister tend to stick to art.
Yeah, I think I actually picked up the art and doing art from my own mother. Oh my god. I just read what Zarak said about loving art but not able to find it interesting until you see it in real life. I want to say I somewhat agree, but not fully. Mainly because I have a strong appreciation for digital art as well as a media source. But seeing like physical paintings, like oil paintings or acrylic paintings, and being able to see like the texture of it is so much more intriguing than
That's
digital.
true. It's the entire debate about. Let me just look at it. Yeah, I think it'll be about more than 50 books. This is my personal collection. My other collection's at my dad's place. And, every now and then I have this discussion with a person on are printed books really necessary? And I would argue yes. You don't have the same feeling when you're reading an ebook.
That's true. And not just that, printed books are also useful just because certain people, they can't really, like, I don't know how to say it, but, like, it helps certain people who struggle to read digitally. Like,
That's true.
it's not a size of text thing, it's a focus thing.
Two things I noticed with digital books is, I'm fine with digital books, but two things I noticed with many people was, the first thing is, it's more stressful on the eye. And bright screens.
It really is.
Second thing is, you don't have a feeling that, let's say I finished half the book.
Mm-hmm.
You have a feeling that, you've achieved something. You don't have the same feeling when you read a digital book.
I'd even argue that it almost feels like I retain less if I read something digitally versus in person.
And that's even
like something about the fact that it's digital makes it like the feedback not quite click the same.
I think there's more of a subconscious thing. If it's digital, you can make infinite copies. So the value of it in the back of your head reduces.
Maybe. I think it could also have to do with senses though. Because with physical books, they intrigue your smells and your sight and your feeling because you have like the texture of the paper, but when you have a digital format, then you're used to the same surface that you've always been touching, and it's not like a new solid object.
Yeah, talking about smell, I've had the opportunity to come. I won't say I don't know what it's called. It's not exactly a negative thing, but I won't call it a positive thing. I've had the opportunity to come across some of the stinkiest books on the planet, and they happen to be like 100 years old. My university library had old shit for some reason.
Was it books wrapped in leather and things like that?
Not nothing that good.
Nothing that good. Oh,
it was like a 100-year-old book on gardening.
What? That's. Honestly, I would have read it even if it stunk.
I read it. I went back, got myself a mask, came back, read it.
That's fair.
So it was in the top floor of the university library. That's where people go to hook up. And I'm like, yeah, please continue. Just continue. I'm just here reading. You guys go ahead.
Yeah.
The thing is, I went to an engineering school, and the books they had were weird. Many of them went on engineering. There was gardening, there was biology, there was there was botany.
Mm-hmm.
There were I think I even came across an occult book.
Those are always fun.
Those are weird.
Those are always fun.
Those are weird.
I don't know. Anytime I read anything that's like even slightly occult, my brain just goes, "Oh, so this is like a really well written fantasy."
Yeah, exactly. The thing is,
yeah.
Look
at the backstory. Wow, look at it. It's all lore.
Yeah, just draw a circle and you can summon a demon. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm like, time to find a couple of willing sacrifices.
Oh my goodness.
No, I didn't do it. Because I knew it was stupid.
To what Fuji said earlier, paperback is one type of physical book. Paperback is the flexible book covers. Then there's the non-flexible book covers, which are hardbacks.
Yeah, I like hardbacks. Even though they're heavy.
I like hardbacks too.
Even though they're heavy, you feel
I like them because they're heavy.
It makes me feel rich.
It makes me feel rich. That's a good way to put it. They do cost more.
One good thing about living in this country, India, is books are cheap. Like, let's say $20 for you would be, what's 250 rupees?
Really?
To USD. So I get books on average for, let's say, what was $20 was $8 for me.
Oh wow, despite imports and everything?
No, the thing is, it's printed over here.
Oh, you know what, you're right.
It's printed over here, so the entire logistics thing has been cancelled.
Oh, okay.
So and think about books here is you get weird shit. Like, I have a budget of how much is that? Let me just check it again. I used to be good at doing math in my head. Now I suck at it.
I mean, it's just lack of practice.
Yeah, I used to have like a $100 budget per month on new books. Per month.
Just for books?
Just
That's
for books.
amazing.
Yeah.
I don't read enough for that,
Nah,
unfortunately.
I like to read a lot. Like my drive. See, so think about driving over here. Is you don't want to drive over here, especially when you're going to work. So I take a cab, read on my way there, and hopefully, if none of my coworkers want to pull with me, which is a good thing because I always get stuck with that. That annoying coworker of yours that only likes to talk.
Fortunately, I work alone.
That's a good
from
thing.
a home job, so I don't have to talk to
That's a
anyone.
good thing. That's a good thing. So there's
Yeah.
this kid, new recruit, slightly younger than me, but for some reason I climbed up the ranks fast, like in my previous job. So just transferred to this one.
Mm-hmm.
This kid talks a lot. He talks a lot. He loves to talk.
He's just friendly.
I was like, yeah, see, I'm fine with. See, he's friendly. He's a nice kid. No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that, sometimes you don't want to. You don't want to hear someone talk.
Yeah, I've yelled at someone for it before. I think I lost a friend in high school once because I didn't realize they were trying to be friends with me, and they would carry my textbooks and stuff for me to my house, and he talked so much, and I had a headache one day. I yelled at him, and then he avoided me the rest of the school year.
Now, so my take on, let's say, coworkers is, unless it's necessary information, please don't tell me that. I know that you're a Indian Catholic and you're not supposed to eat chicken on Good Friday. But why are you telling me you're eating chicken behind your parents' back? Do I look like I care? Seriously, do I look like I care?
Oh my god! Oh my god! You said I'm here to work. I don't care.
I don't care about your ex-girlfriend getting mad. Do I look like I care? I'm like, just get the code ready. And don't call me every 5 minutes to review every line of code. That's not my job, that's your job. Okay, that's the annoying part. So what happened was he got screamed at by my boss, who was the CEO of the company, because he got stuck in a simple problem for 3 days.
Oh my god. Was his brain just not working? Or is he
thing
not
about him is he's not really good at creative solutions.
Oh.
So since that day, he keeps asking me for everything because his boss is out of station. The guy he reports to, that's the guy I work with, is out of station. So he always so that guy works online for the time being.
Okay.
So on the ground, I'm the person who he has to report to. So I tell him, okay, finish like 5 issues and report to me. Don't finish like 10% of an issue and report to me.
Yeah, no, that's way too much. My dad has similar problems with the company he owns. He'll send people out to a job to do the work, and they'll just text him after every little thing they do, and he's like, I gave you a checklist, just write it off on your checklist, don't text me.
Now see, think about this guy, he's not giving me updates on what he's done. He's asking me to verify what he's done. I'm like, you have eyes, I have eyes, both eyes work fine. Now verified. He's like, see, I was like, how do I remove space? I'm like, there's something called, you can delete a break for function. It's like a new line function and a slash and that will remove a line. 5 minutes later, how do we remove a line? I'm like, remove another line. If you think it's not enough, remove another line. Why are you asking me this? So yesterday I got kind of pissed. So there's like an open policy where they're like a coworker. They call each other. If there's an emergency, you can call another person.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Only during times of emergency. He calls me off for the dumbest thing. He's like, you assigned so they assigned a task to me, but I don't think I'm qualified to handle it. Watch it. I'm like, then call the person who's qualified. Why are you calling me?
Yeah, you're like, I'm not qualified either. It's not my job.
That's not my department. My department is find the issue, report it. Your department is to fix it.
Oh no.
Another thing is like, I posted a list of all the issues I found in the latest version of the app they gave me. And he's like, oh my god, there's so many issues. I'm like, yes, that's because you're not doing your job properly. Now finish your job.
Oh my god.
I mean, shit, like,
a hard worker.
I mean, what happened was he was actually assigned to a different team, and I'm kind of chummy with the manager of that team.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, I'm like, I could tell him, like, bro, just keep him. I don't want him. You keep him. And he's like, no, you keep him. It's like, we were like, shopping, we're like,
you can't hot potato a guy like that. You can't.
So, like, the thing is, there's another guy who does the same job but does it more effective. I'm like, I'm gonna keep that guy, you take this guy.
That's fair. So, is the guy just new to the job? Or
Yeah, he's new.
Like,
he just got out of university.
He's new.
Just got out of university.
It'll take him a while.
Yeah, it'll take him a while, but I'm not running a training center.
No, you're not. So I understand how it gets exhausting, but I do. I
understand his situation, but that's not my job.
No, it's really not.
Another thing is he talks a lot, which pisses. Another thing is like Sunday or no, be like, let's go for tea. I'm like, I'm working. Please leave me alone. Go. So tea breaks are a common cultural thing over here.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like it's like common to have what we call a 10 rupee tea. That's, let me just convert that to USD again. It's the cheapest shit you can find, but it's pretty good. It's like 13 cents per cup.
Are you sure he's not flirting with you?
No.
No, okay.
He's scared. He's scared of me.
He's scared of you.
Yeah, he's scared of me.
Some guys are into that.
The reason I know is he flirts with a different girl.
Oh, that's her. Okay.
Yeah, and she likes to bully him.
Okay.
It's like Nagato all over again, if I'm gonna be honest.
That's fair. I mean, I feel like it makes sense though, like, oh.
No, another reason I know he's not flirting to me is he likes to talk to everyone, not just me, so.
Oh, okay, so it's an everyone thing.
Yeah, so after
depending on how new he is, he's probably just trying to make friends in the work environment.
No, he wants to make friends and he's extremely enthusiastic. And he gives us a lot of unnecessary information which makes him look like a clown. As in, dude, you eating, let's say a piece of chicken, or not eating a piece of chicken on Good Friday is your own prerogative. It's up to you. See, I eat stuff that I'm not supposed to eat according to my family's religious beliefs, and that's out of choice. They know it, they're fine with it. I do not.
Yeah.
And I do not eat behind their back, and I do not tell my coworkers that yes, I'm not supposed to eat it, but I'm eating it.
Yeah, no, that's just not smart.
Yeah, that's unnecessary information that I do not need.
Yeah, it's.
So and apparently everyone in the world is from the kid street. He's like, yes, so according to him, any issue happens, someone in the street is affected for some reason. I'm like, how big is your street? How big is your street?
How big is your street? Yeah, that's fair.
How big is the street? So it's like, certain times you keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. I feel like one of the reasons why I hear this and it doesn't bother me that much is because in America, like, that's very popular work culture where people mainly use it as, like, an area to socialize rather than work, which I know is very frustrating for people who are very hardworking.
Here also people do. Like, I got to know my co-workers' wives. I got to know my co-workers' families too. That's common. The thing is, it's just that you don't talk about random shit that no one else wants to talk about.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair. If he's just, like, saying something randomly that's completely off topic.
Like, okay, so one of my coworkers wants to ask me, like, invited me to his baby shower. Which is, stuff like that happens. But the thing is, he doesn't, and he knows I like investing. I invest, and he wants to get into investing, so he talks to me about that. This kid, on the other hand, randomly talks about how he did not get invited to his college ex's wedding or some shit like that. I'm like, do I look like a care? Yeah, if I'm gonna bitch about, how many people didn't invite me to their weddings?
Yeah, that's her.
Do I look like I really care? Like, half my classmates are married. And none of them, only one invited me to her wedding.
Oh my goodness.
It's you'll get used to it. It's a weird thing. That's why I stopped using Instagram. Open up Instagram, I'm like, wedding picture. I'm like, when's the pregnant picture's gonna come up?
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I can't even feel bad just because, like... Well, I can feel bad, but I can't feel bad because I completely get having like an overbearing like person because I had one in high school, but it almost feels like it's just like an age difference thing. Where
He's only about a year younger than me.
he's only a year younger than you?
It's at a year. Yeah, I think it's a maturity thing because I have close to 3 years field experience. He has 6 months.
Oh, okay.
That might be the reason, but he loves to talk a lot. And the thing is, like, I'm on a call with one of our clients. He's like, Cookie, please look at the code.
Oh no.
I'm like, no, for God's sake. I don't want. I'm busy right now. And the client's like, is there something happening? Should we talk? No, it's fine. Client comes first. You fuck off. I don't want to talk to you
Yeah,
now.
pretty much.
The thing is, like, so what we did is just pass it on to the sales guy. Let the sales guy handle him. The sales guy comes up with a couple of requests. I'm like, you take care of him. He'll come to you. He kept pestering the sales guy till he's like, screw it. I'm not talking to you again.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, I feel so bad that everyone in your work keeps just hot potatoing him though.
It's like, see, the thing about him is he's too enthusiastic, but he doesn't get shit done. See, if he talks it out and gets shit done, we're fine with it. He doesn't get anything done. Like, what normally takes let's say, okay, I'm gonna talk from the perspective of an experienced coder. Let's say what takes them 1 hour, which should take him 3 or 4 hours because he's new. Takes him 2 days.
Oh my goodness, that's so grossly unproductive. I don't even know how he's still managing to stay with the company.
Thing about him is he doesn't know how to optimize his work schedule. So let's say you give him 10 issues to fix, 10 pieces of code. Let's say he knows the first one, the second one, and third one. He has an issue with the fourth and fifth one, but he knows the sixth one, seventh one, and so on. By the time he reaches the third or fourth one, he just sits there. Doesn't move on to the other ones so he can finish and go back to the third one. Just sits there.
Oh no. How do you get out of school good then? Because, like, that's like a number one test taking strategy too. You just go back to what you're struggling with later.
Okay, the thing about universities here is there's so many universities that, graduating is pretty easy.
Oh.
What was that? Kid has a master's in computer science, by the way.
Oh.
I'm like, what? So he did that for 2 days, so my boss got really pissed.
He must have been that kid in school who asked us so many questions that the professor was like, oh my god. But I guess he needs just direct instruction on what to do.
Yeah,
he doesn't have that real world experience.
He needs like exact line by line instructions of what to do. Then he'll get it done. And then there's the other thing, like my boss was so pissed, he's like, listen here, I don't want you to go home till you finish this. And 10 minutes later he's like, so can I have next week off? He just got screamed at. Okay. I says, seriously, the thing is I want to go visit my grandma, so can I have the next week off?
My goodness.
I'm like, sometimes just shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Don't talk.
You have to have so much balls to ask that, honestly, more than the fucking Michelangelo sculptures. Like, what the hell?
You either need balls or no brains. Or both. And see, even after it got rejected, next day he's like, okay boss, can I have next week off?
No.
I'm like, okay, this is so what happens is my boss never screamed, okay? That's the first time I started seeing him scream.
Oh, that was the first time you seen him scream.
Yeah, he was pissed. He was really pissed.
I mean, yeah, if he is 2 days behind on something, if that's something you're supposed to be able to get done in an hour and it takes you Tuesdays to do it, you're so, you can literally set everyone back on a singular project by years.
Yeah, the thing is that thanks to him I had to work on a weekend. I'm in quality assurance, so my work is the last stage of the entire process.
Yeah.
So thanks to him, I had to finish it. I had to do it during the weekend. I'm like, I'm gonna kill you one day.
There's other coders at your job, though, right? You're not just stuck sitting around doing nothing because this guy's slow.
So what happens is, it's we're understaffed. My superiors know that, and they're recruiting new people.
Okay.
But training takes some time, and all that all the good stuff. I don't know how else to call
Takes
it.
time and payment and certification.
See, all the entire thing is many companies have like a 3-month notice period. So even if they get selected, we have to wait for 3 months for them to join us.
Yeah. Also, I'm in the same position as Eric, where it's like, oh, I don't want to be mean, but goddamn,
It's so apparently he took like I'm like I go into work. I'm like, where is he? So the guy who normally sits next to him is like, oh, he took today off. I'm like, why? He had a headache. I'm like, what do you mean he had a headache?
he just, if you have a headache, you take ibuprofen.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Oh, those other things like, okay, so the day where they told him to stay till he finishes, he like just starts packing his bag like. And my boss was like, are you done? So I left by that time. And he's like, no, I think it's getting late. I want to go home. So, yeah, apparently, according to my other coworkers, my boss was really pissed. Like, really, really pissed.
How has he not gotten fired?
Okay, the thing about my boss is he's one of those extremely religious Christians who believe in, helping others. So even if he's pissed, I'd say from a company perspective, it's pretty bad, but it's not my place to give him advice on how to run his business.
Yeah. Are you sure he had a headache or what? That's so funny.
Yeah, that's so the thing is, I'd say both. He had a headache and he was the headache.
Both.
It's kids these days. That's all I'll say. Another thing, he tells me about how his brother and
you can't kids these days him. You just admitted he was only a year younger than you.
Yeah, but a year younger than me is Gen Z. That's a different generation. That's a different generation.
I guess that's right. I think I'm technically the
I but anyway. Oh shit, I'm Gen Z. I just realized I'm Gen Z.
You just realized you're Kalki?
Yeah, I'm like 24. That's it. Turning 25 next month.
Oh yeah, no, you're the same generation as me, and I'm 22.
I'm the same generation as my sister, and she's like 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, I think you're technically on the cusp.
Yeah. The thing is, entire
it could be
millennial
either or, depending on how the people separate it.
Yeah. And I'm sorry for dragging this conversation to my personal issues with annoying coworkers.
No, it's okay.
I'm actually happy
Did you have any...
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you have any specific questions you wanted to ask?
I think we went too much into a deep tangent. Let me just...
We went too much into a tangent. We gotta regain. We got on this topic after talking about books and the stinky book at your library about gardening.
Oh yeah, the stinky book at the library. Amazing stuff. Yeah. Okay, I mean the only thing is I couldn't nick any of them because all of them were tagged using RFID chip. Link to my college profile. So, I can only graduate if I return all the books I nicked.
Okay, that's fair.
But they had some really good stuff. Just sell all the old stuff to.
Did your library have any books where they were like, this book is way too valuable, we can't take this out of the library?
No. See, the thing about valuable books over here is, I don't give a fuck. It was collecting dust on the top floor.
Oh, wow.
So there are valuable books like that up there, but it's just that they don't really care.
I think we have a really massive library in the States that you'd probably love to visit.
Library of Congress?
That might be it. I think it is it. I'm so bad with names.
The thing is, I actually want some of those extremely rare books. Just that it costs a lot. That's one thing. The second thing is, I can't keep it over here. The humidity might destroy it.
Yeah, no, you would have to have like an airlock container or something safe to put it in.
Yeah, maintenance is a pain. Like, even my knife collection, I have to keep polishing it to make sure nothing bad happens to it.
Oh, wow. Is it really that bad, the humidity over there?
Yeah,
we have humidity here as well.
No, it's actually, I'd say the climate is similar to a swamp. I don't know how it's described, but like the place where I'm staying, it's similar to a swamp.
Oh, okay.
It's extremely hot and extremely humid.
Okay.
And
So,
those,
like, the knives you collect, are those because of, like, decorative reasons? Because I know, like, for instance, there's certain places here where we'll have, like, little medieval festivals, and people like to buy really decorative knives just
okay,
because
so
they
then,
think the designs on them are
so the knives
gorgeous.
I have, okay, one of them's a family heirloom. That's with my
Oh,
mom
okay.
right now. It's, and my grandma gave it to me, but it's entrusted to my mother right now.
Okay.
I think there's only three of them in the world. It was from my grandmother, her brother, my great uncle, and one of her sisters. So
Oh,
it's
that sounds really cool, actually.
okay. That one's safe in the Middle East. Then I have a tiny collection of Swiss Army knives. So Victorinox, the company that makes the Swiss Army knives, has this annual artsy knife thingy. They call it, I think it's called the Victorinox 2021 collection or 2022 collection, so on. I have like a couple of pieces from 2020 and 2021 collection.
Hmm. It's so cute that you collect, like, little Swiss Army
Ah,
knives.
they're adorable. They're like tiny little knives.
Oh, is it, like, the extra tiny ones or, like, the
Yeah,
really
yeah.
big ones? Because I know they come in all different, like, sizes, especially if they're, like, the big utility.
No, so the collectibles are the extra tiny ones.
Oh, okay. I had one of those, and what I would do with it is I would use the scissors in it to trim my eyebrows.
Okay. So
It's perfect for that.
no, so I have one of the normal size ones. So tradition in the family. Dad got it from granddad. I got it from me and my sister got it from dad. So after you reach let's say the age of 15, yeah, was it for 15? You get a Swiss Army knife.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
So that one
I
I
know
use.
in my family.
So that one I use it for gardening.
Oh, that's cute. Okay.
It's my sister's one is. She's like, why do you get the fancy one? I'm like, that's not a fancy one. It's the same shit. We both of us get the same shit. I'll buy one of the fancy
Yeah.
ones when you grow up.
What kind of gardening do you do? Is it flowers or
Vegetable.
vegetable garden? Okay. I know
Vegetable.
when I was younger, we used to have a flower garden.
Oh,
That
nice.
was really fun. We had like roses and mints and
Oh, that's
things
nice.
along those lines.
Roses don't grow here, so that's
None
really
of
nice.
them?
No,
Because there's a couple different species.
no. The thing is, you can grow it, but it's too much maintenance.
Oh, is like the soil not right for it?
It's a mixture of the soil, the heat, the humidity.
Oh, that's fair. Isn't I forgot I don't want to be wrong when I say this, but isn't India like a really big producer of like saffron?
Yeah, they are.
I find the flower like the physical flowers are so gorgeous.
No, they are. The thing is, it doesn't grow here. I was gonna say that it doesn't grow in
Oh, it doesn't grow in your
my
part.
neck of the
Fair.
wood. Had to go a
I don't
bit
think
up
it
north.
grows in a lot of places. I think there's certain areas in the
Yeah,
states where they're trying to make like controlled areas to grow it ourselves, just because of how much it's worth.
yeah. There is a substitute. I think it's called Spanish saffron. Let me just check. So yeah, there's a substitute called Spanish saffron. Not as good as the original one, but still effective enough.
Is that the one that people keep mixing with the actual saffron so that way it's cheaper to produce?
It might be. I'm not sure.
Because I know there's like a conspiracy going on right now where or not a conspiracy, but like it's a real issue where people are taking saffron and they're mixing it with other things so that way it's like they can act like they're producing more than they really are, but it's not like the genuine saffron.
Okay, that's not conspiracy. That's standard business practice when it comes to agriculture
Yes,
over here.
and business for conspiracy, yeah. No, I don't know why said conspiracy because I seen like a whole post about it and like the differences in it. Because apparently, if you put like the real saffron in water, it won't leach very much color
Yeah.
from the original.
Yeah.
But if you put the fake saffron in it, it turns like the whole color yellow. Like it looks like you had a bunch of turmeric in it.
Yeah, so there's this dish called saffron rice. Mom loves it, dad loves it, I hate it. I'm like, it's just plain rice, but expensive. Why are we eating this?
Oh, that's right. I don't even know if I've ever tasted saffron.
It's extremely mild. Like, it's good with milk. Like, saffron milk is pretty good, but saffron rice, not worth it.
How would you describe it?
It has a mildish, it's like, imagine tea, a tiny, like, sweet tea. I don't know how else to describe it.
Okay, so it's sweet and okay.
It has a herbish feel and sweet at the same time.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, so what happened was I discovered there's a thing called Spanish saffron. which came in my sister's bird seed. So my sister was taking care of the neighbor's bird.
Mm-hmm.
And so we bought some bird seeds, and I realized that there's something called Spanish saffron. The seeds are present out there. I'm like, screw this. I'm in IT, and everyone in IT wants to retire by the age of 30.
Oh my god.
That's how it is. So I'm like, okay, by the time I reach 30, I'm gonna buy some shitty land in the middle of nowhere and start a Spanish saffron plantation.
Oh my goodness.
I called up my old college roommate, and she's in. Oh, she's in.
She's in.
She's in. She's like, fine. And she's like, what about the pub plan? The pub that we're planning. I'm like, yeah, that too.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so I'm not sure if you know this, but me and my college roommate accidentally made alcohol in campus.
Really?
So what happened was I'm a big fan of tea, tea without milk. So I had a shit ton of green tea just lying about, and they're like, what can we do with that? And I'm like, what if? Just hear me out. What if we turn tea into alcohol?
Turn tea into alcohol?
Yeah.
I don't eat. I can't.
It worked.
Is that one of the reasons why it worked?
It worked. It tasted like shit, but it worked.
I mean, alcohol in general tastes like shit in my opinion, so like, people will still probably drink it.
Yeah, we got willing volunteers. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Honestly, just like put extra sugar in it and be like, it's wine. Same thing.
So the easiest way to make alcohol is sugar, water, yeast. That's it.
Yeah, I know.
So what happened was the tea one kind of sucked. Then we decided to make beer.
You decided to make beer.
The problem with that was I couldn't get malt because our university was located in the middle of nowhere, as most universities in this country do. Except the ones where you pay to get in. Those ones are in the middle of the city. Everything else, middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, a local store sells some cornflakes. Cornflakes contain starch. Beer requires starch. So we boil the cornflakes, starch mixes with water, and we ferment that shit.
I'm surprised you didn't decide to just use potatoes.
Getting my hands on potatoes, is tough because it makes it the procedure is a bit more complicated with potatoes.
Oh, okay, that's fair, I guess. Because there's so many starchy products I can think of. Even rice has starch.
Yeah, rice wine is common, but it's not as strong as cornflakes beer.
No, I'm here to make something that can absolutely flatten somebody.
And I'm like, after let's say about 10% alcohol by volume, we couldn't proceed further. We needed a fractional distiller.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be tough because I can't just walk into one of the chemistry labs or the chemical engineering department and be like, listen here, I want a fractional distiller.
Yeah. I think there was a girl in my organic class last semester who managed to passively mention that she Jimmy rigged her own distillery in her room to make alcohol.
Oh, nah.
And
I like this person already.
What? And she was like, yeah, I've just been trying to figure out why it's not fermenting right now. And then she figured out what the issue was, and she was like, yeah. And I'm just like, oh my god. It's so funny though. She was really sweet. Oh, goodbye, Zurek. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, thanks for listening to my rant about alcohol, annoying coworkers and not.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the thing about alcoholism is it's a thing. It's a common thing.
Yeah.
And my roommate's like, see, you make good stuff. We should open up a bar.
Oh goodness.
I'm like, you have a point, but the legal loop, there are too many legal requirements for us to open up a bar.
Yeah, plus licenses and all that stuff. So if you don't already have money.
No, licenses over here are worse because the state government tends to have a monopoly in alcohol distribution.
Oh.
I need a production license for different types of alcohol. So if I'm making a tea-based one, I need a different license for that. If I want to make something similar to beer, needs a different license for that. Really? And I need a distribution license. And after that, I need a license to run a pub.
Got it. So you need to just moonshine your way through this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And thing is, to be honest, Dad would be proud if he found out. He'll be pissed and proud if at the same time he found out. He's a chemical engineer. Both my parents are chemical engineers, so they'll be. See, mom would be disappointed. I know that, but she's like, okay. Oh yeah, so distribution of alcohol over here is illegal unless you have a license. And here I'm confessing my crimes.
What? I mean, you didn't distribute it. It's fine. You haven't broken any laws.
Yeah,
You're very safe.
Yeah, I didn't take any monetary compensation from from my volunteers.
No, you're fine.
So there was one with green tea, there was one with blueberry infused tea, there was one with cornflakes. The cornflakes one was the best.
Honestly, at this point, with how many trials you ran, it was just an experiment.
Yeah, it was an experiment. It was a scientific study with willing volunteers.
Absolutely. I'm sure you took notes on it to see how efficient you can make it in the future. Like, it's just an experiment.
Yeah, we took notes on that because we wanted to make it. We really wanted to make it in the future, and we realized that it's quite effective when kept under pressure. Ferments faster, but the thing about that is the yeast dies faster as well.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. The whole life cycle probably gets exasperated.
Yeah. But actually, the reason we closed is because let's just say the smell was getting a bit too much for the neighbors.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't as bad as, let's say, marijuana, which was common again, but
yeah.
But it was while I was like, I'm like, I've been to engineering school for 4 years. The only shit I've learned is how to fix an electrical fan from the university electrician, and how to make alcohol from WikiHow.
Really?
Yeah. So we figured out how to do it from WikiHow. The thing is, getting east around my parts of the country is pretty tough because most people over here have a rice-based diet.
Oh, okay. So you don't have a lot of bread.
Yeah, in my part of the country. Go a bit north, you'll get bread.
That's
But
even then, not all bread has yeast. So that's an issue.
Yeah.
Depends on if it's a rising bread or not.
Yeah. So the first thing we did was we realized that you can substitute raisins for raisins contains yeast. So we go to the local store. We ask him, "Can we find some raisins?"
Mm-hmm.
He sees right through us. He's like, "You kids are gonna brew alcohol, aren't you?" We're like, "No, of course not. We just wanted to see raisins are good for your health." And they're like, "I haven't seen you bird around the store. What do you do?" We're like, "Nothing. We'll just buy some broccoli and get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
So then we dug up a bit and we realized that dried dates contains yeast, and Dad had just sent over a box of dried dates.
Oh, okay.
We're like, okay, this is how we do it. Plop in a couple of dried dates, mix it with the cornflakes, and you're done.
And you're done.
You're done. Wait for 2 days. Get a willing volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
And you're done.
Oh my goodness. I feel like, oh god, that's such a long process. But I guess it's all in the name of science, so it's
it was all in the name of science. And
hello, Anime Natty.
So that's why. And the thing is, I'm by education, I'm an electronics engineer, electronics and telecommunications engineer. And Dad, for some reason, Dad always thought I was up to no good. He's like, "Okay, I'll buy you the components you require, but I know what that component does. Please don't do what I think you're gonna do." So there's a component requested called IC555, which is used in most common timers, digital timers.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, "I know what you're planning. Please don't do it." I'm like, "Dad, I'm not gonna blow shit up, okay? You know me." He's like, "Yes, I know you. That's why I'm scared."
Oh my god.
See, then no one gets hurt. I just like to see how far I can push stuff.
Nobody gets hurt.
No one gets hurt.
You push too far when someone gets hurt. You know.
And my dad's like, "I know you are capable of doing weird shit. Just don't do it."
Yeah. You got a big brain, Koki.
And yet my grades were low. It was really low. I was like,
the real reason you haven't learned anything. You weren't paying attention. You were too busy fermenting alcohol.
Alcohol was only my final year.
Okay.
Okay, so see you, Ice Dragon.
Goodbye, Ice Dragon. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for listening to how to make, and yeah, to anyone in chat, don't do this, especially if you're in a territory which explicitly forbids the production of alcohol. Please don't do it.
Yeah, if you are anywhere that doesn't allow you to recreationally create alcohol outside of a lab setting, don't follow Koki's influence. Thank you.
Well, so the thing about that is, my grades were bad. My grades were terrible. I would say I was like the bottom 40% of the class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we've had a conversation like this before where you mentioned before, like, I do not do school. I was like, what?
And the thing is, my professors like me for some reason.
Well, I mean, were you a hard worker?
I asked the right questions.
Oh, that's fair.
I asked the right question. I'm like, listen here, I know. They were quite open about me regarding them teaching outdated stuff. That I'm like, listen here, I want to learn the good stuff. You know, the stuff you guys keep hidden behind your master's degrees and shit like that. I want to teach me that stuff.
Teach me the stuff that you work on in your free time. Don't tell me about what the textbook says.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although sometimes you need the textbook stuff so you can fully understand the.
Thing is, I had a professor who created a subject so he can sell more books.
That's a smart man.
Yeah, it's a smart man. I respect the hustle, but the thing about that is, that ain't gonna help anyone because the microprocessor he was teaching us about never went into production.
Oh, it didn't?
Yeah, well, it's a failed Texas Instruments prototype.
Oh, wow.
And
the university still allowed it to be taught?
Think about universities in India. They operate independent of the government, even though most of them are owned by the government. It's like, it's a country of its own.
Yeah.
Federal, like central government or state government laws are not applicable inside your university.
Okay, that's fair.
So theoretically speaking, I can murder a person and get away with it.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, that actually happened in law school in the city I live in right now. It happened, I think about. Yeah, so what happened was that there were riots, as law school kids do. They love to riot. Law enforcement was deployed, but since they weren't invited inside said university, they were deployed outside. Some brilliant genius and all his intellect decided that, you know what, I can murder a person right in front of the cops and get away with it. And he proceeds to do that. Yeah, that happened.
Did no punishments could happen? Did he get any punishments for the school at least?
Nah, he got expelled, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, expelled ain't that strict. See, the thing is, he got expelled because the guy died. I know, like, one of my classmates beat another a batchmate of mine close to death. Got away with the 6-month suspension. That's it.
Okay.
It's like, as many people would say, Indian universities are basically embassies. Everyone has diplomatic immunity.
Okay.
But if you're a British citizen or American citizen, then shit gets real. Like, I had a friend, she's ethnically Indian, but she has a British passport. She got bullied, like, a bit too much. Her dad found out, he got pissed, he called his embassy. Now that got shit done. That actually got shit done.
The before stream talk and like the current stream talk, I don't even know how stuff is running over there. I really don't.
It's like how it's like, imagine if the EU decided to become a country. But
yeah.
And they decided to invite everyone, not just European countries. They decided to invite everyone to be powerful. Actually, am I just describing the UN? Okay, just imagine the UN becomes a country.
Okay.
That's how it is.
Okay.
Yeah, you have like cultural, and the thing is, these laws were put in place because protecting students from law enforcement, from police brutality or something like that.
Dysfunctional family.
Yeah, it's a huge dysfunctional family where we don't like each other. Like.
All right.
So the thing about Indian racism is, it's unique. As in, we're not racist against foreigners, we're racist against each other.
Oh, isn't that where like I think I've heard things about that before where,
The
like,
caste,
there's a culture over there. Yeah, the caste system.
okay,
Yeah.
the caste system is independent of racism. It's bad, but it's independent of racism.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just, like, classism or?
It's how to put it? It's ethnicity-based discrimination. How many languages?
Oh, okay.
I think we have like 300 officially recognized languages and couple of thousand unofficially recognized languages.
Yeah.
Let me just check number of.
I feel like I've also vaguely heard about skin whitening products over there, and I've
Oh,
always
yeah,
thought that's so insane with how many people in the States like to get tan.
That's just wild over here.
Really?
You know, I've actually invested stocks in companies that do that. Best investment of my life. Okay, and tobacco. Best investments of my life.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we have 121 languages that are recognized by the government.
Okay.
At 121, 270 mother tongues, no, I would say they're actually classified as languages, but we call them dialects. And
so it's like Chinese, how there's multiple dialects that don't really understand each other.
Let me check. We have 19,500 dialects.
Okay.
So that's apart from that, we have a caste system which kind of overlaps with that in a way. Even though that is, so discrimination by caste is a criminal offense over here.
Okay.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
But still happens.
Yeah.
Not openly, but still happens. So in my previous job, I had a co-worker. Even though she was my university senior, she reported to me. Oh, I love those. I always loved that. So main topic. Her family was one of the upper caste. Her grandmother still practiced untouchability, which is a practice of a person of a lower caste not having the ability to, not being allowed to come in physical contact with one of a higher caste.
Really?
So so hypothetically, I'm not allowed to shake hands with a grandmother because I would be quote unquote polluting her.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And she's and so it's not doxing if they don't know her name. She's in Texas right now. Her grandma lives in Texas.
Oh, okay.
She's not white. She's like this ultra conservative Indian lady who lives in Texas. Imagine that.
Okay.
Just imagine that. Her neighbors.
Honestly, it makes sense. Texas actually has a very big population of people that aren't white. They have a very big Spanish population, and I believe they also have a very big Korean population.
Yeah, they have a very big Asian population, like different Asian groups, as far as I'm aware. But from my understanding, most of these groups kind of get along to an extent.
Yeah, no, our issues are much more. So, I feel like in India, maybe. Well, I'm gonna say this just because I have zero experience with India, and you can.
Yeah, sure. I'll correct you if there's anything.
But so I feel like we have more racial diversity here in the States, right?
Yeah, see, I'll argue that depends on what you define as race, because if you look,
that's true.
If you're going with the Indian definition of race, I'm actually mixed race. I have like about 3 or 4 different ethnic groups in me. But if you go with they're just different languages spoken by the same group. As in, let's say, there's not much ethnic. Like, if you go with the European definition or Western definition, like the French, the French are an ethnicity. It's not like they're made up of 5 different ethnicities.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean, right? So if you're going with the Western, if you go with the Western definition, yes, I'm just one ethnic group. But if you go with the Indian definition, I'm like a mixture of about 5 groups, 3 to 5 groups.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe we aren't more diverse. We just are diverse. Like the bias in our diversity is just a bit different.
It's more of how, but States is in the end a country of immigrants. So that sort of makes sense. That's more diverse than, let's say, India. Like from a genetic perspective.
Yeah, we are known as a melting pot. So
now here it's like Harvard. And my grandmother from my mother's side is from a different ethnic group. My grandfather from my mother's side is a different ethnic group. My father is a different ethnic group from the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
My thing about my mother's side is they tended to interact with other groups. So I have relatives in like weird parts of the country.
Yeah. But getting back to what I was gonna say about like the racial issue in the States, like, so a lot of Americans actually will just recognize Indians as Indians, even if they're technically from different states and are different how would I say that? Different races over there, right?
And
But
that
over
actually makes,
here, we would,
to be honest, that actually makes it much easier.
yeah, over here we would just lump it all together because, you know,
You don't want
just how
900.
we
You don't
were.
want 900 more ethnic groups in your paperwork. I'll just say that.
Oh my gosh.
You'd be like, no, I am Tamil. That is a Punjabi. We're different groups. No,
It's still so weird though because isn't India still technically part of like the Asian continent, but a lot of people here wouldn't consider it Asian because it's not Eastern Asian, it's Western.
no. So it's so I think yes, but it's not Western. It's Southern Asian, South Asian.
Oh, it's Southern? Okay.
So us, the Pakistanis, the Bangladeshis, the Sri Lankans, the Nepalis, and Bhutanis come under South Asian.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't even call that Asian over here. Like, don't get me wrong. I think we might include it on a form, but like, if you get someone walking down the street who like actually gives a shit about that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
They would say something fucked. They wouldn't call you Asian. They'd say something fucked.
Yeah.
They'd say something
I know.
Yeah.
So thing is the turban thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that way. They just assume that everyone who wears a turban is from
It's so dumb.
From a different part of the world.
It doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't even have to be a turban. It can be like an entirely different type of head wrap or whatever.
Yeah.
But they'll just call it all the same thing. Like, even for like...
You know the funny thing is, people from that part of the world don't really wear turbans.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I spend my childhood in that part of the world. They don't wear turbans.
Oh my goodness.
It's like thing is the entire Indian ethnic discussion is I'd say it stokes up stuff that is better left out forgotten because like one thing I always make it a point is study the past but don't glorify it. All our ancestors were assholes. All our ancestors were assholes.
It's the same in the States.
People
and at the same time, though, I feel like people shouldn't be held accountable.
No, you shouldn't be held accountable for your ancestors' sins. You shouldn't be held accountable for your ancestors' sins because in that case, we're all war criminals.
Exactly. It leads to so many issues, especially with like governments who choose to like act rash against that kind of thing. It's insane.
Yeah, so the thing is, if you think your ancestors owning slaves was bad, my ancestors were most probably genocidal maniacs.
Oh no, honestly, probably mine too. Like I said, several of mine came from Germany.
One place is that my ancestors were worse than that. Some of my ancestors would have been worse than that.
Oh, that's fair.
So, who was, I'd say he's considered one of the greatest emperors of India. He murdered his 90-something brothers, all of them.
The world was a really fucked up
place.
World
was a fucked up place back then. And, glorifying the past it's not good. I just say it's not good.
No,
don't glorify really don't glorify the past. Like,
especially now with how far we've came as people.
But even though the current state of the world is shit, it's an improvement from back then.
Fucking back then, the people who glorify that kind of thing, half the people nowadays wouldn't even be considered people. Over half of the population,
Exactly.
So it's insane.
It's like, and the thing is, it's they call it, patriotism or nationalism. I'm like, bro, focus on the present or the future. Don't focus on the past.
Yeah. Also, you don't have to agree with everything your country does to be patriotic. You just have to want the best for your country.
That's something many people here have to listen to. So
it's the same thing over here.
But thing about Americans, like, I think my understanding is, from the outset, you guys tend to argue a lot, but let's say an external force comes in. I'd argue it's everyone. But then again, let's take Japanese during World War II or the event in 2001. I'm not going to specify the name. YouTube hates that event.
Mm-hmm.
So the groups that attacked you assumed that you as a country were divided because you always argued with each other.
Yeah.
But I would argue that the American idea of patriotism is basically trying to fix your country. Find the flaws and trying to fix it. Instead of agreeing with what your leaders say. Or maybe
living through it, I wouldn't say that. I think America as a whole is just a very us versus them thing, and if we don't have an external factor to go against, we will 100% tear into each other. Like, even our current politics, you'll see the divide.
To be honest,
we'll decide,
that's every government.
You're not very American, and...
Or that thing, you're not American enough, or you're not communist.
Yeah.
You're not communist
enough.
It's so ridiculous. You're not social.
Yeah.
You're not Indian. Okay, the thing about that is, The only reason we as a country I know this is like really controversial takers, we have to thank the Pakistanis for their existence because we have a common enemy to hate.
Yeah.
And because the people from my state hate the central government because they tend to be from a different ethnic group. We just refer to them as North Indians.
Really?
Yeah. Like, the thing is, if you're going to just draw a line called North and South, the majority will be North Indians because the line tends to be a bit closer to the South.
Yeah.
Just, statistics. So the entire thing about it's them versus us, the only reason that it actually boiled once, but that is like a stream of its own. It's called Sri Lanka. We sent troops there, and it's known as our Vietnam.
Yeah. So maybe it's just because, like, I don't know. Do you have less of a history? Well, to be fair, you are an older country. So maybe it's just like there's less of a history where, like, because at one point very recently we did consider ourselves entirely united. So maybe that's why it's so easy for us to come together.
Yeah. So the thing about the concept of India as a nation, unified nation, is despite the subcontinent existing for a long time, ancient cultures, the concept of India is pretty new. Unified India is pretty new. In fact, it's like any historic unified India was actually an empire. It wasn't a unified nation, it was an empire.
Okay.
And the idea of a unified India was pretty British, to say the least. They just clumped us all into one country.
Well, to be fair, Britain wanted the whole world, so they were dead set on fucking unifying everyone. I don't even... oh my god.
The thing about British
India
is it's wild.
South Africa, they were everywhere. Oh my god.
British India was wild, at least during the early days. So the thing is, I'll say that our early leadership took the best out of that. They decided that a country based on a unified belief system of the common man, secularism, religious acceptance was a good idea. They went with that. I'd say that's one of the good things that came out of this entire fiasco.
Yeah.
See, we were unified by external force, but we still stayed unified. And by common belief, not based on ethnic or cultural lines, more or less based on a commonly shared belief.
Well, that's good.
No, it's like, I kind of, many people would many over here, many here hate the American system. They would disagree with me that, but I'll say that Americans and Indians have one thing in common. We're more or less countries based on ideals more than countries based on ethnic or ethnocentric lines.
Okay.
And both the countries have this habit of forcing their ideals upon their neighbors.
Yeah, we sure fucking do, don't we?
We love to do that. They're like, Bangladesh, you gotta be more like us.
God, I feel like that's every country though.
No, that's like every regional power.
Country.
The thing about us is, like, both our countries is, unlike, let's say, I don't know, France, pretty good, or Germany, pretty good countries right now, but in a way they're ethno-states. It's that, we, like, I've seen my sister's textbooks. Like, I was educated in a different education, I have a different educational background from my sister. I see a textbook, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? That's me most of the time, because they tend to force Indian ideals upon situations that don't require Indian ideals. As in, the solution isn't India's version of a liberal democracy.
Yeah.
The solution could be something more suitable for them. As in, I saw my sister's textbook, an entire essay on criticizing the political system in Lebanon, without bringing up any of the necessary points. So, for context, Lebanon has a representative democracy where each religious group gets a fixed amount of seats.
Okay.
As in, the Christians get some, the two Muslim groups, Shias and Sunnis get it. So it's designed in a way that...
So pretty much every religion they recognize.
Yeah, gets a fixed number of seats so that... And the president's from one religion, the prime minister's from a different religion, the speaker of the house is from a different religion. I forgot what the fourth position is. But it's spread equally so that no one group dominates the rest.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so the Indian system is like... They bring this hypothetical atheist kid who wants to be president, but he cannot be president because his parents are from a different ethnic group. And they're like, do you think this kid needs to be president? I'm like, you guys haven't even listed out the historic context behind why they implemented such a system. They didn't talk about the Lebanese civil war where all these groups just slaughtered each other. I met refugees from there.
Yeah.
I started with refugees from those countries, and I know what happened. I don't say I know what happened. I understand what happened.
I'm not educated on what happened. This is an entirely new concept to me.
Like, so, thing is,
We don't talk much about that over here in the States.
So,
like, we don't talk about anything that doesn't profit us.
We don't talk about anything over here. I just like dabbling in geopolitics.
That's right.
And I made a mistake of becoming an expert in Afghanistan, so that's a mistake. So I'm like, it's gonna be fun. When Americans pull out, it's gonna be split into two countries. The baddies get the south, the goodies get the north. It's gonna be like back in the good old days. And I was wrong. And my editor calls me up. He's like, "Do you want to amend the paper you submit?" I'm like, "Yes, I want to amend the paper I submitted." So what happened was India, like, so the Lebanese Civil War was it was messed up. It's pretty hard to explain. Even the people who fought the war don't know what exactly happened. But the solution was the system where each religious group gets a fixed number of seats, so one doesn't dominate the other.
Okay.
However, the way we see it over here is like, this is undemocratic. Anyone should be.
But that's the most democratic thing ever.
No, but from their perspective, some ethnic groups, since the rule was implemented, they've grown in size.
Yeah.
They've grown in size because some groups tend to have more kids than others for cultural, economics, and social based on cultural, economic, and social backgrounds. So, according to these textbooks, they should go back to a standard democracy that's present in India, like majority vote.
So population based, pretty much, instead of recognizing. Okay.
Which, from just a macro view, without understanding the nitty-gritty details of what happened before, this seems undemocratic. But I'm like, I sat down with myself and I listened. This is take this horse shit, throw it in the trash where it belongs.
Yeah.
Because this ain't how it's done. That and my God, the way these guys write Vietnam, the write about Vietnam. See, Vietnam was a mistake. Okay, I think we can all agree upon that. Sending young Americans to die over there was a mistake, but
yeah,
they make it sound like there was no such thing as South Vietnam, which was an American ally that invited USA to intervene on their behalf. I'm like,
I feel like most of people's qualms isn't necessarily that we were there, it was the things we were doing while we were there.
I'd say the biggest mistake you guys did was you stuck with South Vietnam. You never moved up north. You were too defensive, which kind of messed up the troops you had over there. And I think
it's not something I'm entirely educated on, I'm gonna be honest. I really hated history. And I know it's a passion of yours, but boy, did I not like hearing about how...
I understand your take on why you dislike history, because too many dates.
It's not just dates either. It's just, it feels like it's so many issues that we should have learned from, and they just kept happening over and over, you know?
It repeats itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really, really does. And boy, do I fucking hate repetition. Like, what's the point of learning about this exact same event that happened, but now I just have to swap around the name of the man in charge of it?
Yeah, so the thing about me is I hated history in high school. Because it sucked.
Yeah, that's... I like world history. I do not like my history, or I don't like focus history. When you tell me about history, I don't want to learn about the wars. I want to learn about the culture. Even if it's like one's caused by the other.
Okay. The thing about me with history is I don't like what they taught in school because they kind of made it's a good guy versus bad guy storyline, regardless of where you study.
Yeah, they're way too biased.
Yeah, they're way too biased. They kind of... I won't say they're biased, they kind of whitewash about, they try to make it simpler for the kids. They're like, these are the goodies, these are the baddies, the goodies made some mistakes, but they're the good guys.
Yeah, and I think that's just silly, because there's plenty of... I'm not a big fan of war, either.
And no one's a big fan of war. Whoever says they're a big fan of war, they're messed up. They're messed up in the head. Or they've never been to war.
You'll need some Americans who over-glorify that, so...
And I'm quite sure most of them haven't been in combat. Hopefully.
No, they haven't. They haven't,
exactly.
Actually.
That's why.
A lot of they'll overcomplicate it. Like, the same with people who have, like... If you've ever dealt with low-income areas, and you deal with someone who claims to come from a low-income area, they'll gloat about it as if it's something to gloat about when it's really not.
It is. Okay, that's something, yeah, they're like... here the bragging is different. It's like, I'm so poor, the government pays for everything. Then I'll be like, this sucker, and I'm so poor that the government carries me around.
Oh my god.
Then like, I'm so poor, I'm official. Then there's the farmer debate. Yeah, yes, I'm gonna get into Koki's attempt to self-cancel herself, number 502.
Talking about politics?
No, not talking about politics. Politics is safe. Talking about farmers in India. Farmers in India.
Oh, really?
See, farmers in India is like the abortion debate in the States. Either side you take, you're gonna get screwed over.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. I have a very dear friend who's a lot of his family are farmers in India, so.
Okay, he's gonna hate me now. I think,
You know?
I think farmers get away with a lot of stuff. Just saying that they're too protected in the wrong ways, and they're not protected in the wrong ways. I mean, just swap it a bit and it'll be fine.
Oh, like they. So basically, you think that they get their toes stepped on, but not for things that make sense, and
Yeah.
like the protections aren't really valuable to them.
So the protections they get is something like. So what happens in India is like, according to the Indian Patent Act of I think 1975, that I'm supposed to be an expert on that, and I'm not a lawyer. So the Indian Patent Act explicitly states that anything with agricultural applications cannot be patented.
Okay.
So let's say I like chili plants, and I've been trying to make a hybrid chili, which is a passion. Let's say I managed to commercialize that. There's nothing, and I register a company, do all my shit, but there's nothing protecting my new invention, the new chili plant.
Oh, that's weird because I know in the States we have stuff like that.
Yeah,
to protect, like,
most
certain tomato species.
Yeah, so we don't have that. Nothing. Independent of that, the same thing applies for livestock as well. Something that's classified as a living thing cannot be patented in India.
Oh, okay. So because plants are classified as
it's a double whammy. First is the plant thing. The second there's another clause which states about agriculture. Anything with agricultural applications cannot be patented.
That's crazy.
So in a way, what happens is that like
I feel like I would prefer that for like certain things.
Medicine.
Just because it would make it, like medicine, or because it would make food probably more affordable if more people could produce things.
The thing is that on a theoretical sense, that's how it works. But practically, what happened with medicine worked out fine. Medicine in India actually worked out fine. Like that's one thing I agree with the Indian Patent Act. But there's a loophole which we can use. I'll go into that later. But what happened with farmers with agriculture is it kind of reduced innovation in the agricultural sphere. So the tactics we still the agricultural methods we still use is pretty primitive compared to the rest of the world. And any attempt to change by either a state or central government results in protests, and they always use the card. What about the farmers? And if you argue with that, you're a soulless bastard. And I'm officially classified as a soulless bastard.
Well, like I said, I got a friend who's got very dear family, so
yeah, I see that.
I've known him for so long.
The thing is, just because I disagree with them, I personally don't have anything against them. And this actually created a sort of brain drain. Okay, I think this was off stream that we discussed about real estate in India. It's fucking wild. It just keeps going up. So what happens is, you're a farmer. You're dirt poor. You come up with new techniques. You're dirt poor. Like farmers are dirt poor. Despite me bitching about them getting protection, they're dirt poor. Indian farmers are some of the poorest people on the planet. Not the country, the planet. So what happens is you're the farmer who's dirt poor. You're like, I'm pretty good with physical work. What if I work in a factory in the city? I get paid more, and my land is worth a lot. So I'll just sell it to a real estate developer and move to the city with my family, and continue doing that. That's my grandfather's story from my father's side.
Yeah.
So what happens is, like, if let's say a handful of people do it, fine. But if the majority of the population do it, now there's no more agricultural land. That's what happened.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, like, so the protection with farmers is the government failed the farmers in that sense. That's what I'm trying to say. The protections are wrong. Okay. As in, they should have maintained patent laws while protecting, giving them a minimum. My take on this is pretty extreme, but my take would be the government buys. See, if a farmer wants out from his shitty life, give him out. Let him go to the city. But you, as the government, buy the land. You don't let him sell it to developers. You buy it at a reasonable price. The same price that the developer wants, you buy it, and you run a farm. Because according to my projections, we're gonna have a famine in the next decade or so, if this continues. Because farmers are being underpaid. Okay, farmers are being paid jack shit.
So you think that's just gonna encourage them to stop working?
No, I won't say encourages them to stop working. It encourages them to switch industries.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, that's pretty much the same as stop working, though, if you don't have new people taking over the jobs.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, why should he watch his kids suffer? Why should he watch his kids suffer the same way he suffered?
Yeah, he's like, no, he's got to feed his kids.
He has to feed his
Unless
kids.
Unless your government does what our government did for the dairy industry, where we heavily cash supplemented it, and now we have a fucking underground cheese vault. But anyway, let's not talk about the government cheese over here, because that shit's so funny to me.
Over here, it's like, another thing is, like, the Indian government isn't good at privatizing shit. They don't know how to privatize stuff. Whenever they try to privatize stuff...
I feel like the people would be mad at that, because if you try to privatize it, people would probably feel like, oh, you're taking away their land, and like you mentioned before...
the thing is, the land is already private. It's owned by private individuals. When I say so what happens is, there's a system where, like, there was something called the farmers' rights, all over the news. I'm not gonna go into what's right, what's wrong. I'm just gonna go into what the government did. So these guys and all their brilliance. So what happens is warehouses, agricultural warehouses, are operated by the government.
Mm-hmm.
So the overhead costs were a bit too much. The government decided to privatize it without having any minimum price laws, which kind of pissed off the farmers.
Really?
That's what happened. I'm like, there's a really simple solution that you guys missed.
Yeah.
They outsourced that shit. It's still under the government banner, but it's outsourced to a private company.
Yeah.
Simple as that. They never thought about that. Imagine that.
God, honestly, setting a minimum price would fix so many things too.
No, the thing about setting minimum prices, you have to get everyone to agree upon it.
Yeah.
And you have to make it's like, if there's gonna be a famine, I'm gonna start my saffron plantation, and I'm gonna sell tomatoes on the side.
Oh my goodness.
It's Indian economic policy is weird. It's like everything just goes down to us not having good economic policies. Maybe another thing is encourage farmers to encourage people to become farmers. Because I work in IT because it pays me. I'm not passionate about farming. That's a different story. I don't want to farm, but I'm just saying there are people who want to farm. Just encourage, make it more appealing.
Oh, like they want to make it seem like a more desirable job if more people are going to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So over here, the joke is people become bigger. Like I'm gonna jump into journalism, but it's the same thing with farmers. People become journalists if they fail in school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with farmers. You become a farmer if you don't have anything else to do. So there's this. It's like. They messed up. They can fix it, but I'm not sure if they're gonna fix it.
Yeah.
Or we can buy food from the Chinese.
Oh God.
They'll be more than happy to help us on the condition that we give them more concessions.
Yeah.
But the people are gonna hate me for saying, but God, I love the Chinese, especially their messed up their strategies.
I'm starting to get so sleepy.
Yeah, and where were we? Arts. Yeah, talking about arts, we invented the stickman image. There's an actual art style in India which is basically the stickman image.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Worley painting. I'll just send you an image of that. It's adorable.
Please.
So the thing, my mom went to one of the places in the country where they make this, and she had one commissioned. My sister makes this. It's like this adorable stickman. It's like it's Indian stickman.
Just like
Here I go.
Oh my god, wait, that is so cute.
It's pretty old.
Uh,
It's pretty old, by the way.
it reminds me of, well, this might sound a little fucked up, but it reminds me of cave paintings.
No, they were actually cave paintings of this.
Oh, okay.
It's a form
Yeah,
of
that's
tribal
what they
art.
remind me.
So
That's so cute, though. The little mom on the bottom left is my favorite.
Okay, there are ones with horses. There are cave paintings. See, so what happens? Many of this is normally done on walls nowadays. It's and the thing about this is, my sister's high school actually had that.
Oh, okay. So, like,
It's
by habit, do you mean they had like the sheet of paper? Like,
no, they painted on the wall.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's there's this thing from my state called Tanjore Paintings. Let me just grab a picture of that. That thing's expensive. It's expensive because there's gold overlaid with the image.
Okay.
So let me just get one. What is this? Oh yeah, so my parents have one of these. They got a commission. I'm like, yes, it's gonna go into the family. It's gonna go into my inheritance, isn't it? So what happens is, okay, so there are like parts of it that's actually hand painted, and the shiny part is actually is made out of gold.
Is it like full gold or gold leaf?
It's depends. It depends on how much you paid for it.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
So if it's an expensive one, it's full gold.
This is something I would actually find very, very pretty. It honestly, it almost reminds me of the art that I see at like the Thai restaurant my family goes to, just because of like the decorative nature of it.
Oh, okay. So
Like,
the specific painting,
they have their own themes, but
the specific painting I sent you is similar to Thai. What are the designs? Let me just say Tanjore painting. Let me just see if I can get the one that my parents have. So we had to go to this remote town where this lady who specializes in this lives, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll do it for you." Like, yes, I'm like, and it was back in the day when gold wasn't that expensive, I mean, comparatively.
yeah.
So for you to do this, you had to be both a goldsmith and a good painter. Okay, this is similar to what my parents have. Not the exact same one, but similar.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I'm like, the thing is, the funny thing right now is, assuming my parents want to move back into the country, how are they planning to get back in without paying taxes? They have a gold import tax. They have a gold import tax.
I mean, is it for all types, or is it just for a certain weight of it? Because I know in the States, if we go to like certain countries and buy gold, it's only if we buy a certain weight of the gold specifically that we have to pay an import tax.
Okay, so well, here how it is. Thing is, if it's, let's say, a coin or a little bar of gold, you have to pay regardless of the weight. If your jewelry exceeds, let's say, I don't know, I think it's like 5 grams, you have to pay.
Oh wow, that's not a lot at all.
And the 5-gram thing is, you have to pay. It has to be on you. You have to be wearing it.
Oh.
So let's just say if it's in your bag, they'll expect you to tax that shit. they'll tax that shit.
Okay.
So I'm like, how are they planning to smuggle this? It's a huge painting. How are they planning to smuggle this inside the country?
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, you have to pay taxes. I'm like, I'll figure a way. Because one thing Indians love is bitching about taxes.
I mean, I feel like every country does.
Yeah, like, regardless of the political spectrum, we can all agree that taxes suck.
Yeah.
And there's an entire system where, you can convert your taxes, you can, not pay taxes. So
yeah, I don't mind them too much, but I believe everyone is kind of like me, where they're like, yeah, no, these taxes that they are taking need to be allocated better. But everyone has a different definition of what better is. So
I personally think income taxes suck. Just remove income taxes, maintain.
I don't have any income taxes in my state.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I don't have income tax on my street.
So theoretically, India, you can have a 100%. You can have an income tax rate that goes up to 100%. Theoretically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So if you cross a certain threshold of income, your income tax is 100%.
Okay.
And no one's reached that amount, thankfully. But purely in a purely hypothetical situation, you can reach 100%.
Okay.
Unless you're classified as a farmer or a textile merchant, then your taxes are less.
That's crazy.
And the funny thing is, you have movie stars classified as farmers, not to pay taxes.
Yeah.
And the richest man in India is classified as a textile merchant, which he technically is, but still, come on, why? He's so rich. Oh yeah, so talking about art, like I know architecture isn't exactly art, but it's technically art.
Oh no, that's definitely art. I have family who work in construction, and the thought and process that goes behind it, especially if you get into like older architecture, it's amazing.
Okay, so there's a multi-billionaire in India, richest man in Asia. He has the ugliest house. I see, but I can't.
Ugliest toes?
The ugliest house on the planet.
Okay.
Let me just get a picture of that. Download this. So the thing about pictures of it online is they try to make it look better than it actually is. And the sad thing about this house is it's overlooking the largest slum in Asia. Here it is.
Oh, that is ugly.
And it gets worse because the view is ugly.
Oh no.
The view gets
it's just like a building.
The view gets worse because the view is just a bunch of poor people.
Oh. How could you morally feel good putting a house
overlooking the poorest of the country?
Yeah.
Okay, so I found a better view of his house. So I think it looks over Dharavi. That's the largest slum in Asia.
Oh my god. It's so massive. It could house everyone who lives there, probably.
No, the thing about the slum's a bit too big for that. Okay, yeah, I found the slum. And the funny thing is, I can't afford to stay in that slum. That city's expensive.
Really? Wow.
It's expensive. Like, really it's often called the New York of India for a reason.
Okay.
Here we go. That's his view. That's his beautiful view. A slum. Imagine that. You're the richest man in Asia and you overlook that.
How could you look at that every day and not want to help?
Or maybe he feels good. He's like, my grandfather came from there. Now look at me.
I would feel like such an asshole though.
Okay. I know he's not gonna sue me. He is an asshole. Okay, it's a well-known fact. He's an asshole. A good businessman, but he's an asshole. It's a well-known fact that he's an asshole.
My goodness.
And thing about him is, so his father built his business empire. This guy expanded. Him and his younger brother had a feud, and their mom had to come in and intervene. Stop them from going at each other's throats. I say feuds like some Game of Thrones level shit.
My goodness.
It's like so Indian business families are. The powerful ones are fucked up because I was even technically classified as a business family till grandpa's business went bust. But yeah, they're fucked up. They're like back in the day we had princes and kings. Now we have these clones.
Okay.
So this guy, if you think this guy's the worst, you haven't seen the worst yet. There's a guy who another textile merchant because of course they're textile merchants.
Yeah.
He kind of threw his dad on the streets. His dad's the guy who built up the company.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, he's raising his daughter to take. I'm like, yes, his daughter's gonna throw him in the streets. It's like the Sith from Star Wars. The apprentice overthrows the master.
Yeah.
As in the line overthrows the master. and there's a kid whose dad bought him an entire cricket team. He wanted to be a cricket player, so his dad bought his way in. Kid ain't that good. It's like how about, let's say the Waltons, right? The Walmart family, the Walton families. A kid from the Walton family wants to be a baseball star, or or an NBA star. Okay, he ain't get good. Okay, he's like 5'4". He can't shoot a hoop.
You can't shoot. Okay.
And let's say his dad buys a position inside the Chicago Bulls for him. Now imagine that. I'm like, what?
Okay.
No, it's wild. It's like really wild. As a non-millionaire, I can laugh at it.
I'm just so dumbfounded. Honestly. Oh my goodness.
It's all you have to do is pay. It's like, I'm like, and he took a sabbatical because he was feeling depressed. I'm like, dude, you haven't even played one match. Just play one match and you feel depressed already. Oh, he was on the bench for most of the season.
Oh, okay. So he was on the bench for most of the season.
Yeah, it's a good thing because his team would have lost.
Yeah. No, especially if he couldn't shoot the hoop.
It gets worse. So this kid's elder sister dropped out of Oxford, runs a bank. And she's like only 2 years older than me. Like, how does she run a bank? How is she qualified to run a women's development bank?
Is she like running it, or is
she's a managing director.
Maybe she was trained for it her whole life. I don't know. Really built different.
Nah. Where is her pin? Oh, so she made a piece of art which I have to find. I have to show it to you. See, I normally don't shit on other people's art because, come on, that's just being mean. Like, where is that painting? Did they just wipe the internet from that?
Maybe.
It was like, so I found it on one of those bidding sites for fine arts.
Okay, yeah.
It's come on, they got rid of it.
Maybe it disappears after it's been gone for so long.
Yeah, maybe. Last time I saw it was like 3 years ago.
Okay.
So it was like, you know what? I can recreate. Let me just open up Paint. I'll recreate it and send it to you. And it was like, see. Thing is, I appreciate that she did it for charity, but who's gonna pay like, I think it was $60,000 to $80,000 for that. Let me just draw it. I'm gonna Chad, I'm gonna put this on auction. If anyone's interested, you can contact me. My Twitter DMs are open.
Yeah.
I'm gonna recreate Ananya Birla's thing. So, yeah, if I remember correctly, there was a horse. The thing is, I'm not exaggerating. This is how it was. It was more colorful, but okay. And that was I see. I'm drawing from memory, so some of them might not be accurate, but yeah, good. It's done, and it's going. Here you go. Here you go, Crilly. I'm gonna send it to you now. Here it is. My recreation of memory of her artwork.
Oh my god.
$60,000.
$60,000.
Yeah, for that.
Honestly, people who make gorgeous art on Twitter offer like $2, and it's 5 million times more of the effort.
You know what? I have to show this to Chad. So Chad, this is the piece I'm talking about. It's a recreation from memory. Maybe my memory is a bit, hazy. It's been a while. But here you go. This is what it looks like. It's a wonderful piece.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put it on sale. If anyone wants it, my DMs are open. Bidding price is 1 Indian rupee. It starts at 1 Indian rupee, and that is for my non-Indian audience. To USD. Okay, that's like 1.3 cents. And I'm willing to go even lower than that. Yeah, it's where shit's and she's I'm quite sure that people use her music in Ginto to torture captured extreme captured guys.
Oh my god.
She became a pop star temporarily.
Oh. She
So,
just wants to do everything.
yeah, see, I don't blame her. See, if my dad was rich, I'd do the same thing. If my dad was rich, I don't know.
Same.
See,
I don't think I'd become a pop star though. I have enough
okay.
shame to know I can't sing.
No, same. The thing is, the only D I ever got in high school, like the only D's and F's I ever got in high school was in music, so I know where I stand. It's so her music is terrible, and I'm not gonna play because she'll copyright strike me out of existence. But Crilly, I'll send it to you on listen at your own discretion. Okay, it's all auto tune and not in the good way.
Oh my goodness.
Let me just pull it up. Where is it? Oh no. There's more. There's more since I last checked out. Why is she doing this? She could just, I know, not do it. She's rich enough not to torture us poor folk.
Join the community of...
Yeah, okay, here we go. I found it. I'm gonna send it to you, and I'm not gonna play it on stream because I care about chat too much. They deserve better. Here's it. Listen at your own discretion. I warn you, it's the best. It's the best the Indian military's come up in psychological warfare. Pretty well, shit. I think we have diverted a bit too much again. Crilly, are you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry.
Okay. That's fine.
I was clicking on the video.
Don't. I'm just sending it to you so you know what to send if someone.
It's not available in my country. Where's my VPN?
It's good. It's so bad that I'm quite sure the Democrats and Republicans agreed upon it being inhumane to torture yourself. It being a bit too humane.
But I wanted to listen to it.
You know what? After the stream, I'll just share it on my screen.
You play it for me? Amazing.
Yeah, I'll just do that. I'm not doing that on screen because she will sue me out of existence. And and the funny thing is, I've invested in her dad's company. And I'll be honest, Atya Buddha, you fucking asshole. How come your stocks go down by 20%? You don't flinch. You piece of shit. I didn't spend much, so that's fine. It went down by 20% in 1 month. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's he running? It goes down by 20%.
That's such a significant amount.
And he has a private jet. Like, give me a private jet. As an investor in your company, even though I invested like, how much I invested like pretty less. To USD, yeah. That's like, how much did I invest? I invested 200 rupees. As a person who invested $2.05 in your company, I deserve your private jet.
My goodness.
I actually did it as a hunch. If it works out, it works out. Else, it doesn't work out. The thing is, if I'm going to get into investing talking about investment, I just keep going there. You're okay with that, right?
Yeah, no, you can absolutely go on more into investment. It's not a topic that I personally talk about just because I'm always very silent on finances and that kind of thing, except for the fact that I like to save money.
That's good. You save money. That's actually a really good thing. That's step one.
I know it is. And then you have to... Because I do personally partake in stocks and stuff. There's some people who make it way too much of, like, their life and, like, don't get me started on the people who are obsessed with crypto.
No. The thing about crypto is like, so one of my aunts just came up and asked, so what do you think about crypto? I'm like, that is the lowest piece of shit, but I can't even call that, but because shit has some physical value.
Oh my god.
See, I can sell shit.
Don't get me wrong. It has value because people are giving it value, right?
Yeah, I mean,
but like all currency, but like it doesn't have the history
Yeah, but think about currencies. It's backed by a government's an economy.
Yeah.
As in, let's say, US dollar is backed by the US economy, the Indian rupee is backed by the Indian economy, and so on and so forth. And they are, despite me bitching about the Indian economy, it is extremely stable compared to some other parts of the world. But crypto, what's it backed upon? The promises of a couple of crypto bros.
Yeah.
And thing is, they've invented something called a stable coin, which, theoretically speaking, has, let's say, if one coin is pegged to $1, they have a reserve of one for each coin created. They have a reserve of $1, or that's what they claim. But think about the stable coin system is it's actually a bit more insidious than what they claim. It's not backed by physical currency. It's actually backed by loans.
Okay.
So, and the thing about those loans are they're not stable. They're not how to put it? They're not stable loans. They're more unstable in nature. They're high risks. Like I'd say there'll be a double B rating, which is extremely low. So it's all backed by high risk loans, and as I'm quite sure you were yeah. See, both of us were alive in 2008. We know that unstable loans are bad.
Yeah, no. Oh my gosh. Sorry, we got on the topic of loans, and anytime we talk about loans, I always think about how many predatory loan companies there are in the United States. I'm sure there's more.
They're everywhere. So what happens is, every bank in India is a predatory loan company, and that's
really?
for legal purposes. That's comedy. I do not mean that in the official sense.
It's comedy.
Yes, yeah, it's comedy. It's parody and comedy. Yes, they're predatory because they keep calling me about loans. They keep calling everyone about loans. So what happens is, so there's this salesman mentality among many bank employees. As in, the more people you get signed up to your loan program, the higher your bonus for that month would be.
Okay.
So they just cold call everyone who has an account in their bank. So I get like 5 calls from my bank saying, you qualified for loan. I'm like, do I look like I want a loan? They're like, but ma'am, the loans are good. You can buy a house. I'm like, I have a house. But ma'am, loans are good. You can buy a car. I don't want a car. And the best is when they try to sell you insurance. Okay, many banks run insurance companies on the side. And my bank, this bank used to be this bank is they're well connected to my family. As in my grandfather, my father, me, my mother, like everyone else has an account with them. They try to sell me life insurance. Just imagine what they pitched to me. And
what do they do?
Whatever you imagine, it's not as bad as what they pitched to me. Like, ma'am, even if you commit suicide, your next in kin will get the money.
Oh my god.
I'm like, do I look suicidal to you?
I mean, I almost get why they would pitch that, because there's a lot of people who, like, in the States at least, if it's ruled a suicide, you won't get any of the life insurance here.
That's the same thing with many insurances. See, I understand that, but that's not the first thing you go with.
No, it's not how you lead.
That's not how you sell it.
This is like, how dead do I look like to you? Does my soul look like it's been sapped from my body?
It's okay. So I think the same thing with loans. Like, if you have a loan, I don't know, many loans. What happens is, I don't think that it's passed on to the next of kin, is it?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, like, so what happened was there's a guy who ran what's called the poor man's Starbucks. That's what I call it.
Okay.
It's called Cafe Coffee Day. Really popular in India. I used to go there. Like, that was the only cafe in my university, so I used to go there. And I'm quite sure every person who went to university in India is going to say the same thing. The thing about them is, Starbucks in India is considered a pretty expensive product, because, as I said, I can get coffee for like 13 cents, or at most 20 cents. So why should I go to an expensive cafe? Okay, well, you get where I'm going with this, right? So
almost.
So there's so what happens is this guy comes up with a business plan. He starts off with this cafe. It's pretty good. And then he decides, I'm going to expand all the country, and puts them in the middle of nowhere, like literally nowhere.
Why?
So I went on a road trip with a couple of my friends from university.
Yeah.
Middle of nowhere, okay? The only vehicles on the road apart from ours is like, our trucks carrying timber. That's it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Oh my goodness.
Middle of nowhere. And you'll find that shit. It's like how good. It's so, they expand so much that there was one every like 15 or 20 miles. And unlike Starbucks, Starbucks over here is considered what the rich people drink. The service is good, but I won't say it's worth the money. These guys definitely were not worth the money. The service was shit.
Yeah.
And so the CEO decided to off himself because his company was in debt, and he started taking loans, linking it to his personal account to the hopes that the company will hey, see, I'm gonna go with so there are a couple of conspiracy theories where his wife murdered him, but I don't believe that.
Okay.
Because the evidence seems to be pointing otherwise. He just decided to drown. One of the worst ways to off yourself, if I'm being honest. I kind of feel bad for him. You see, sure he was a shitty businessman, but no one deserves it.
Yeah, no one does.
So he offs himself. The debts were, see, if the bank goes after his family, they're gonna look like dicks.
Yeah, they really will too. And I feel like that blows things up even further.
Yeah. So I think I think the company's still present.
Is it legal
what?
over there for loan companies to go after to people who didn't take out the loans? Because I think we have certain protections in place where you can't do that here.
Depends on what sort of loan you're taking. Yeah, you have to read the fine print.
Oh, okay.
So the thing is, many of these guys don't take loans from banks. They take loans from venture capital firms. So legally speaking, the company and the individual are two separate entities. However, this is in the States as well. The venture capitalist, venture VC firm could add an additional clause saying that they'll hold a certain individual responsible if deadlines aren't met. They'll have a buyback option saying that this person, these stakeholders of said company, should buy back for the amount that they gave the company if certain, at a fixed price, if certain benchmarks aren't met.
Okay.
So this guy could have gone to, let's say, one of the big ones, like, I don't want to throw names, but I'll just go with BlackRock, Blackstone. Really good investment company. And if anyone from those firms are watching, you can DM me. I'll send my resume over. I'll love to work for you.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, okay, BlackRock basically owns the US government. That's a different story. So BlackRock was brought in by the second latest administration to help them restructure their financial loans when the pandemic hit.
Okay. So it sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, they're big companies. They're huge companies. So I'm not gonna say those guys didn't invest in these companies, but companies like that tend to have certain clauses. As in, if you don't reach your deadline, you don't make a profit by, let's say, 3 years, you'll have to buy back the stock you sold us at a fixed price. So I'm quite sure this guy got linked into something like that.
Okay.
And
so basically, even if the value of it tanks entirely, you have to buy it at that upmarked price.
Yes.
Okay.
And then an additional clause is individual investors, like let's say the company's CEO or the company's chief operations officer, COO, will be held personally responsible for failure. See, I like venture capital firms, but the thing about making deals with venture capital firms is you're making a deal with the devil. Unless you're 100% sure on what's going to happen, don't go for VC firms. In fact, never go for investment. Just bootstrap your business.
Okay.
I was in that industry before getting into quality assurance. Pretty fun. The amount of money laundering I saw about the startups, not venture capital firms, it's wild. It's like, the joke about rich people just handing each other briefcases and taking their briefcases back?
Yeah.
That happens.
Oh my goodness.
So what happens is many companies, so I went through the financial transactions of one of the companies because, I'm not supposed, it's not my job to go with it, but I have access to that data, and a friend of mine, she was working for that company, asked me to go through the details because she felt her boss was lying about not giving her a raise.
Oh my god.
Not gonna name the company because that bastard, he's not gonna sue me. He's gonna come and
It
kill
could
me.
be any company. It could be any
It
company.
could be any company. It could be the tea stall across the street. It could be a company in the middle of nowhere. You know, just
Yeah,
saying.
it could be any company.
It could be any company. So this guy apparently he claimed to have gotten a investment from a I think from Cyprus, and it came in the news. And newspapers love to report about how successful any companies are, which everyone does. You want good stories.
Yeah.
But
it's also publicity. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, when she asked for a raise, he claimed that the company is broke, and he's like paying out of his own pocket. And she saw the news. She saw it in the news, and she's like, "Can you just run a couple of background checks on him?" I'm like, "Fine. Let me see which firm gave it to him." Like, yes, Cyprus. That's it. The thing about money from Cyprus is it's a red flag. If you get investment money from Cyprus, you're money laundering, or you're linked with the mafia, with the Russian mafia, one of the two.
One of the two, probably.
Or both.
Anyway.
Or both.
I don't know. I don't know the company. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know the company. I'm just talking about my ass right now.
Yeah.
For legal purposes.
Hypothetically.
And many Indians, quote unquote, startups are tax exempt for the first 3 years of operation.
Okay.
Which, on theory is a good idea. Practicality is a different thing. So what they do is for the first 3 years, they do money laundering for certain unsavory people. A group of people who like to drink vodka. And so this guy, apparently he managed to, so what they do is they get the money. Let's say they get 5 million. They take 500,000 as transaction fees and give the 4.5 million back to the owner as dividends for their investment in said company, which is not taxable. So imagine that. And this was pretty open. I'm not law enforcement. I'm just a girl with a desktop.
I'm just someone who likes to read stories on the internet. That's all it is.
Yeah. I just had access to publicly available information, centralized into, added into one centralized database. That's it. That's a publicly available information.
Okay, that's fair.
And half an hour of Googling. That's it.
I love how, despite the stream gonna be about art, we've spiraled into so many different topics.
That's why I call it the big brain stream.
The big brain stream.
We are big brain. We are big brain. And chat, you're all gonna be big brain by the time we're done with this.
They might lose a couple brain cells. We move real fast.
See, think about the brain. The thing is, you lose a few, you gain a few. That's how it is.
You lose a few, you gain a few. Makes sense. What if I only have one?
See, thing is, you lose one, then you gain a new one. And it just plops out of nowhere.
Oh, amazing. I love the refresh.
It's, the thing about brain cells, brain cells just plop out of nowhere. That's how they just magically appear out of nowhere. So if you watch my streams, you'll just magically gain like 100 new brain cells. You may lose like 10 in the process, but 100 minus 10 is 90, which is a good thing. It's
my brain's just shutting down. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. It's fine.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so CC is just Amir logo key tab. Okay, Mitch, I don't understand Hindi. Sorry about that. I don't know what you're trying to tell me. It's a different language. It's in India. One of the most commonly spoken languages.
Okay.
Which I don't speak.
You don't. How many languages can you speak?
See, I can speak. Actually, I can only speak 2, but I can understand up to 5.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Thing is, I can understand Arabic, but I can't speak Arabic. It's the way they roll their tongues. The way they roll their tongues is weird.
That's fair.
I can speak my mother's the mother tongues from the languages from my mother's. I can understand the languages from my mother's side, but I can't speak it.
Okay.
Actually, I can understand all the South Indian languages. Speak one. The 4 major South Indian languages. I can understand all 4 of them. I can speak one. But apart from that, and I can speak English. That's it. And me speaking my mother tongue is considered quite entertaining for people who know the language, because my grammar is pretty bad.
Oh, do you have like an accent or something?
I have an accent, and the second thing is what I do is, like in my head it's English. I just translate it to this language, like word by word.
Oh, okay.
So grammatically, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, oh no.
And in certain ways, it comes out as extremely offensive.
Oh no.
So people
I
just
think it doesn't come across as very formal, and that's probably for free.
not just farmers like. So my boss, when I was handling a client who speaks only this language, my boss is listening on me laughing the whole time.
Goodness.
Because like, so I wanted to say, he asked me should I log out. I'm like, I wanted to tell him, regardless of you logging in or logging out, it's gonna work the same way. The way it came out is, yeah, sure, do whatever you want. That's how it came out. And my boss is like laughing at the back. It's like, you're lucky that people assume that you don't know the language.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so like each language has its own structure, right? Like they have their own grammatical structure, the way a sentence is formed. I just use English as my base for everything I do. And in my defense, the only people I spoke to, like spent my entire childhood speaking my mother tongue to, were my parents, so. And my grandparents when I visited them, but that was like once a year back then, and that ain't enough practice. And my sister's pretty good with languages. My sister and my mom are pretty good with languages.
Okay.
Me and my dad are terrible.
I'm terrible at languages.
Me and my dad are terrible with languages. And my dad is even worse with art. He just knows how to draw stickmen.
Oh no!
So when he gives like a demonstration of this is person A, like, so what happens is dad had a habit
of $60 million stickman? Is it
thing about dad is he likes the entire investment thing. That my mindset on investment was thanks to my dad. He made it a point to get us introduce us to that culture quite early.
Okay.
Same thing with my sisters. My sister's playing around with simulations right now. She owns a couple of stocks, but that's taken care of by my dad.
Yeah.
Because she's legally a minor and she can't trade. So the thing is, so when he explained it to me, he drew like stickman. So this is the company, and this is you. You give money to the company, they give you a piece of paper which says that you own a certain percentage of the company.
Oh my god.
He did a slideshow with stickman. And when he needs something done, like for a presentation, he needs some artwork done, he just tells his mom to draw it. So quite early in his career, he had to do a couple of presentations. He wanted certain comic strips done. Like he had new ideas, but he didn't know how to draw it, so he got mom to draw it for him. And my sister kind of got the best when it came to my dad's ideas with comic strips and my mom's artistic skills. So she's actually making her own comic strips. Hasn't published
That's so cool.
She hasn't published anything yet. She's kind of shy in that sense. I'm like, just publish it. What's the worst that's gonna happen? What's the worst that's gonna happen?
What's gonna happen? People are gonna bully you? I'm an anime woman on the internet. Come on.
So thing about her is she's quite sensitive about what people think about her. I give zero fucks. It's like the personalities are the exact opposite. She's quite sensitive about all that, about what people think about her. Me, I'm like, yes. I'm a 24-year-old alcoholic who's an 24-year-old alcoholic girl on the internet.
Oh my god.
Well, it can't get worse than that.
It can't get worse than that. Oh my gosh.
And the last person I dated ran away screaming because I started talking about what did I scare him off with?
Oh my god, Cookie, no.
No, see, there wasn't anything that bad. It just felt uncomfortable, and he for some reason didn't tell me to stop.
Okay. So it was poor communication, and they chose to just discontinue instead of talk it out. So that way it went in
So he wanted to talk. So what happened? So the thing about many people is the thing about many topics is I do a deep dive into many topics.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't sleep much, so I have plenty of time on my hands. So any topic you want to talk about, with the exception of medicine, I can talk about it. And I see. Thing is, I never considered medical school because quite right now. It's actually surprising. Right now, I'm not that squeamish, but during my younger days, I was extremely squeamish.
Oh, okay. So you can't handle like
Blood.
gore.
No, say I
Yeah,
can handle.
okay.
I can handle gore, but the thing is, it should be dead. Whatever I'm operating on,
Okay.
animal or human, should be dead. I can't handle the
Yeah,
pressure of
that's
of someone's life being in my hand.
I was actually doing a magnet program for a school for something medical related, but I had to stop because I felt way too bad about what if things went wrong. Like, what if I wasn't good enough? So that's why I didn't pursue it.
Now, for me, it's like I know for a fact that I'm not really good. Like, I can handle stress, but I can't handle stress if it's someone's life that's directly in my hands. One small mistake, someone dies. I can't handle that.
It's fine. You wouldn't be a good surgeon anyway. You said you had shaky hands.
Yeah, I've no. Thing is, if
You
I
would
went to
have
the
to be
if
the
I,
one that
if
kills
I,
the robot.
no, see, if I went into medicine, the closest I would go is a psychiatrist. That's it. Like,
Oh yeah, that's cool. It's a very cool field.
yeah, but the thing about psychiatrists is it's like one of the most. How I put it, like it's like one of the fields that you take. Oh yeah, it's like there's like a social stigma about psychiatry over here. Going to the psychiatrist.
It's got a big stigma against it.
Yeah, there's a huge stigma against it over here. And now it's changing. It's slowly changing. But when I was in high school, there was this huge stigma against going to the psychiatrist. Only the crazy people go to the psychiatrist.
Okay, so it is the stigma that it's the mental illness that's bad, not necessarily the person treating it.
And the thing about that is, it's like if you're a girl and you say you're gonna be a psychiatrist, they'll be like, you'll be handling crazy people. What if they attack you?
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm like, okay. And I've seen the best psychiatry hospital in the city.
Oh my god.
I'm like, whoa. I'm like, why does it look like the central prison?
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, the funny thing is the central prison that's located here is located right next to a boys' high school.
Oh no.
I'm like, why? Why? Who came up with this? Oh, funny thing is, many prisons, except like the extremely high value, high security prisons, like the ones where they keep extremely dangerous prisoners, as in terrorists. Apart from those, the rest are located in urban centers for some reason.
Okay.
I'm like, yes, give them an easy way to escape. Jump out, get a cab, get an Uber, go to the nearest railway station, just leave the state.
Okay.
I found that fascinating. I kept asking my mom why are they doing that? Aren't they supposed to keep in the middle of nowhere? And my mom's answer was always one thing: logistics. The court is nearby, the prison is the police station is nearby, the prison is nearby.
Okay. Oh, is this back to what you were telling me earlier about how they like to keep everything near them?
Yeah. No, see that thing was more of once, as in he wants an ice cream parlor next to his place. He wants a fancy restaurant near his place.
Oh, okay. So that's more luxuries.
Yeah, it's more luxury. This is they would say the prisons, the courts, and all that.
You keep those away. Those
were actually built by the Brits.
Oh, okay.
So any building in my city that's reddish in color, with the exception of the police stations, were built by the Brits.
Okay.
Anything that looks like shit was built by us. I'm sorry, but the architecture in the city is terrible.
Oh my goodness.
It's like,
is it like just none of it matches, or is
none of it matches.
I feel like it would almost be interesting to look at, though.
See, when I say another thing is we have I don't know how to describe it. We have something like a poster culture. I'm not sure about and I've seen it in other states, but other southern states, but I don't know about other parts of India. So what they do is movie posters on public walls is common.
Okay.
And the thing about that is they don't take it off. It just gets stuck on the wall and then starts slowly peeling off. And someone puts another poster on top of it, starts slowly peeling off. And it looks like someone took an actual shit and speared it on a wall.
Oh my god.
At a certain point, it looks like that. Movie posters, if someone passes away, the family puts up a condolence poster. Wedding posters, those are the ones I hate the most.
They do wedding posters?
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, so according to, I don't know about other parts of India, according to all the cultures I'm part of, I'm actually part of 3 cultures over here, 3 to 5 cultures over here. Every wedding's pretty open, as in anyone can come or go. Like it goes in with our understanding of hospitality.
Okay.
As in you have to feed everyone that comes across your place. So I think that from my understanding, the poster is basically an invitation to everyone to just drop by and have some free food.
Okay. So it's like they're celebrating, but
Yeah.
they're hosting the celebration instead of being celebrated.
Instead of just the family celebrating, they want to share it with everyone else, with the community as a whole.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, but I'd say that thing's kind of died out. Now it's become more of a dick measuring contest on who's the fanciest guest you can invite. So what they do is they put the picture of the fanciest guest on the poster.
What? That feel okay.
The fanciest guest eventually invariably is a politician.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, may I have one condition: no politicians in my wedding.
No politicians. That's fair.
No politicians on my wedding, especially because those guys those guys tend to bring too much trouble with them.
Yeah.
And so the poster thing, I'd say the biggest issue with the way buildings are over here is the poster thing. So let's say I paint the walls painted white originally, or it's a white wall. After like 3 or 4 posters, you can see the cement behind it.
Okay.
It's so they've recently brought like certain people, like let's say private property, like for example the walls outside my house. We have a sign which says no posters allowed.
Yeah.
But many buildings don't have that. So it looks like shit.
So they just put it on any building where it doesn't say, "Hey, you're not allowed to have a poster here."
Yeah. And political parties tend to book walls, as in from this part to this part belongs to party A, this part to this part belongs to party B, and so on.
Gosh. Okay.
I'm like, just get rid of the entire system. Just get rid of the entire system. And it makes the city look ugly. And
it sounds like it would. It sounds like it would be so busy, especially what if there's like multiples going on at the same time, and then it's like there's a battle going on.
No, so what they do is they take turns. One guy posts it on top of one, the other guy posts like the bottom right corner of this, and then just overlaps the bottom right corner. So it just keeps overlapping on top of each other.
Oh my gosh. How much litter does this cause? It feels like that would cause
a lot. Surprisingly, surprisingly, that's not the worst.
Really? Okay.
Okay, so the thing is, we had a river. Once upon a time, we had a river. It's now a sewer.
Oh. I think I know what river you're talking about. I think I've seen pictures of it.
That's a different river. We have a lot of those.
No!
No, so this one's in my city. The one where there's one in what's considered Silicon Valley of India. There's a lake which catches on fire every now and then.
Just occasionally catches on fire?
Yeah, every now and then catches on fire. It suddenly starts shooting up white stuff. It looks like snow, but isn't snow.
That sounds like it pollutes a lot. Don't eat the weird white dust. Don't eat the weird white dust.
And the funny thing is, there's fish in that lake. Somehow.
Oh. I mean, I'm not surprised. There's a lake in the States called Lake Erie, which used to have very bad pollution, and it would cause the fish to come out with like extra eyes and stuff because of the birth defects due to all the pollution.
See, I won't be surprised if Godzilla comes out of this lake. That's how bad it is. So the funny thing is, my cousin lives in that city. When he was in high school, his school decided to take him on a field trip to Set Lake to show them what pollution is. I'm like, the kids are gonna, half the kids are gonna get asthma from that. The lake stinks. And okay, I'm not gonna go into conspiracy theory over here. There's a military testing site right next to that lake. Okay. I don't know about you, but I think they're working on Godzilla.
You think they're working on Godzilla? Oh my goodness.
See, all you have to do is just take a lizard, plop it in the lake, let it marinate for like a month. You're gonna get Godzilla.
Oh my god. Better yet, like an iguana, like a big marine iguana. It'll definitely turn into one.
Oh, we don't even need marine iguanas. We have like land iguanas over here. We have like big ass lizards.
do.
That's like it's as big as I won't say it's as big as a marine iguana. They call it a Komodo dragon, but I don't think it's a Komodo dragon because Komodo dragons in the Far East, it's like a
I know about Komodos, but I feel like those are limited. It might be a different type of monitor.
Yeah, I think it's like it's a monitor lizard. Like what we have is a monitor lizard.
Is it a river monitor? They're like long and skinny and they
No,
get big.
it's like these things live in pretty dry land.
Okay.
So in my language we just call them Wona.
Okay.
So all you need is take one of these monitor lizards, plop it in the lake, and see it grow.
Okay.
You have Godzilla. Yeah, that's it. You have Godzilla. If you want King Kong, just plop in a monkey. We have a lot of those.
A monkey.
Plop in a monkey, and you can actually recreate Godzilla versus King Kong, and you can actually see who wins.
You want to be Superman? Just take a sip.
It's a beautiful lake, and the traffic in the city. I've been to a lot of cities in India, and the two cities I hate. Actually, I dislike a lot of them, but two cities I despise. One is this city because the traffic is terrible. I once got stuck in traffic. What should normally take about 20 minutes, I got stuck in traffic for 3 hours.
Oh my god.
So the guy who's driving my Uber, he just stops the car. I'm like, what's going on? He he takes out his newspaper and starts like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, ma'am, there's gonna be like a 1 hour delay at least. So let me read my newspaper.
Okay.
I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is this city? And the funny thing about the city is nothing opens up in the morning. Nothing.
Nothing?
Except the pubs. So I went there for a training program.
Wait!
I went there for a training program. And I'm like, my classes start at 10.
That explains the alcoholism.
No, so, and I decided to go, so what happened was, I initially planned, like the first day I tried to go there at 10, but I ended up going there at 12 because of the traffic, the 3 hour traffic jam.
Oh,
So from the second day onwards, I decided to go really early. I'm like, I'm hungry, let me check what restaurants are around. They have a McDonald's. Okay, good. There's civilization over here, that's good. But the thing is, they say 24 hours open, and then when I go there, the guy, the guy says that they only open at 11. I'm like, 11 p.m., 11 a.m. I'm like,
how probably because of all the... You know what? No, it's not even because of prep work. I feel like maybe over there they'll have prep work to actually do, but I feel like in the States they don't have real prep work.
No, it's more of it's a cultural thing. In that city, it's more of a nightlife city, apparently. And it's a city that wants to be USA really bad because you've heard of Chili's, right? Chili's, the restaurant chain.
Yes. Yeah.
So everybody else is just called Chili's, but in that city it's called American Chili's.
Oh no!
I'm like, what's the difference? It's the same shit you guys are gonna serve. Like, I have a couple of Chili's in my city. It's just called Chili's.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, in that city, it's called American Chili's.
That's so funny.
So I go there. I'm like, screw this shit. But I go around searching for food. I find a pub that's open, and they're like, if you want a beer, we'll give you a beer. I'm like, no, I don't have glasses now. I can't go drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since I'm the youngest one in the class, and they're all gonna look at me.
Oh.
No, so that thing was weird. The instructor I worked on India's version of Project Prism.
Okay.
That's the NSA's surveillance system. We have a tiny version of that one in our country as well.
Okay.
So he worked on that. Imagine me going there drunk. I was like, this is and the guy who ran the places where the classes were held, that guy was a vegetarian.
Oh, okay.
So I was served vegetables for 4 days. The instructor was pissed. I was pissed. Everyone was pissed because we were served.
That doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world. I love vegetables.
Yeah. Thing is, it's not the worst thing in the world, but he's a Jain. Jains are it's a religious group. So think about Jains they are like, imagine if Buddhists were even more peaceful.
Okay. I learned about them in my humanities class.
Jainism. Okay.
It was world religions.
Okay, so thing about Jains is really nice people, but their food sucks.
Oh, is it like not flavored?
Yeah, no ginger, no garlic, no onions.
Oh wow.
And every Indian dish needs some garlic or ginger in it.
Why do they not use those?
So it's linked to why Brahmins don't eat many. It's like many groups in India don't eat anything that grows below the ground. There are conflicting stories. I've asked a couple of people. The conflicting stories. Some say it's something to do with spirituality.
Wait, so they can't even eat potatoes?
No, they can't eat potatoes.
That's awful. They can't eat peanuts. They can't eat nothing. They can't eat. Oh my god. Not even carrots?
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's it's weird. So what we did was like fine. We got an Uber Eats once.
You miss out on so many good vegetables. What about like the radishes and like the beets? Oh my god.
It's like it's not just Jains. It's like even Hindu Brahmins, the ultra orthodox ones don't eat anything that grows below the ground.
I love potatoes.
You can't eat potatoes.
But I love them.
It's a sad life. It's a good thing we're not part of those communities.
What if like you manage to manufacture like a fake dirt that isn't technically dirt and like you grow potatoes in that?
It's nothing. I don't think it's anything to do with actual dirt. Something to do with the belief that
light not touching it.
No, it's like I don't think it's anything to do with that. Something like stuff that grows below ground gives negative energy or some shit like that. I don't know. I didn't really get too much into Hindu spirituality because I found it wild. I'm like, this is too wild even for me.
Okay.
It's like, so each one, I think the same thing with Buddhists. Each type of food has a separate sort of energy associated with it.
Maybe that's why I'm such a bitch. I eat too many potato chips.
No, potato chips are good. The potato chips...
They're so good.
It's... it's weird.
Oh my god, if your coworker ever asks you if you don't like them, be like, no, I've just ate a lot of potato chips today.
I'm surprisingly well liked among my coworkers in this job. Previous job, I didn't get along with many people.
That's fine.
Here they're like fine, and because my boss isn't an asshole. It's as simple as that.
Okay, that's good.
His thing is, don't play the blame game. Just get shit done. Just fix it.
Oh, that's a good way to live.
Yeah, so that's all the stuff. Like my previous boss was a little whiny bitch. So the thing is, I don't respect a guy whose investors ask him if he's been jacking off the whole day instead of getting stuff done.
Oh my god.
His investors asked him, have you been jacking off instead of creating profits? Well, what the fuck are you running? They asked him that. Okay, so he's like one of those guys who got into the entire startup craze without knowing how to run a company.
Oh.
And funny thing, he's a professor in a business school.
And he didn't know how to run a company?
Yeah, so most of these guys, their knowledge is purely theoretical.
Oh, so they have no, like, practice.
And they have no practice. They find it hard. Like, see, the thing is, he populated most of the senior staff with his former students.
Okay.
So, there's a high level of nepotism. And for like, the guys he brought up, he had a front end, UI UX designer who doesn't know UI UX. He has a business advisor whose entire thing is he dropped out of uni and he's being kicked out of 3 companies.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but that ain't gonna be my advisor. I'm gonna do the exact opposite of what he says because he's been kicked out of 3 companies.
Yeah, honestly, probably the same.
I mean, it was just I don't think his entire thing was, I'm gonna get investment. I'm like, profits. He's like, no, I'll get investment.
Yeah.
I made him and he treated his students like the staff he hired from his students differently from the rest of the staff. He was shit to us. He was really nice to them.
So was it just because they were seniors, so he knew them better?
No, that is because they were his students.
Oh, okay. So because you. Okay.
See, I was never a student. In fact, he taught in a different university from where I graduated from. So.
Oh, okay.
So, and think about universities here, they have a dick pushing contest on who's better.
I feel like that's every university, unless they're really extreme.
No, here it's like really messed up. There's like this really like So what happens is they have something called Indian Institute of Technologies, IITs as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And as my dad says, that's where the crazies go. Koki, that's where the crazies go.
Oh my goodness.
So see, it's the top. They're the top universities in India, no denying that. But with the level of intellect, there's a level of madness. There's a level of insanity. So these are kids that never lost anything in their lives. So suicide is pretty rife in those universities.
Oh.
So, yeah, I've said the S word too many times. Susan's gonna be pissed. Anyway, I'll continue using the S word. Yeah, they self-off themselves. They decide not to live anymore because these kids. First is pressure. Second thing is these kids don't know what losing is.
Okay, so it's just a bunch of kids who've never experienced failure before in their life, and they probably are really scared of any family repercussions that could happen if they aren't the most successful.
The funny thing is there won't be any family repercussions.
Oh, okay.
Because coming second place ain't that bad. Just saying.
It's really not.
It's just the
But
fear.
I feel like I understand, because I have a friend who was going into theoretical nuclear physics, and she was so used to working her ass off and getting straight A's that she got her first F in a theoretical class, which fucking makes sense. That shit is hard.
Yeah.
And she was losing her mind.
I see, losing your mind is different from deciding to just give up on it, right?
But she was close. I mean, like, she had to get help.
She got help, right?
Yeah, she got help. She's okay.
See, that's the thing. That's the difference. These kids don't want to get help. They're like, okay, it goes back to the stigma of why should I get help? I've been the tops on my own. Why should I suddenly go get help?
Yeah, I knew another person like that too in my high school, and they were an underclassman to me, and they were like, I've been a whatever, and I've gotten all this, and I've gotten so many A's, and I've done all this. I'm like, okay, that's great, but you're struggling now, so let me help you study. And they went, I've never needed that, and they had like a whole mental breakdown, and I was like, well, looks like you're not gonna learn anything.
So another thing is these kids don't know how to interact with the opposite gender. I'll just start. So they're too engrossed with just studies that the point when the hormones kick in, which is pretty late for these kids. That's like around the age 18 when they join uni. Yeah, they're fucking weird. They're weird. They're like weirdos. So think about press and universities. Universities tend to create a narrative with the press. Like I actually served as the press liaison officer for my university because the press isn't allowed inside a university without explicit permission, and anything that goes in or comes out is heavily censored by said university.
Oh wow. Okay, I guess that makes sense with the whole. They're like their own thing. So.
Yeah. So I was like a shadow writer and a liaison officer for the press in my university days. And I did that because I wanted to get in the good graces of a professor of mine who's considered one of the best in an industry that I wanted to work in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was it worked out well, but then I realized that the industry is tough to get into.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I'm still considered an expert in that field. It's just that none of the companies that work in that, basically the Indian government, they don't want me unless there's certain qualifications which I'm not qualified yet.
Okay.
Anyway, so what happened was there was a story from the university. My previous employment was a company associated with the university. It was a startup that was. Oh yeah, funny thing in India is many startups are directly linked to universities. So this one was linked to what's considered one of the best universities in India, but I would disagree. But we all have our opinions.
Yeah.
We all have our opinions. So in this university, Feb 14th, two guys stabbed each other.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm gonna make fun of it is because both those fucking morons don't know where the vital organs are. The little bitches didn't even know how to kill each other.
Oh my god.
And
to be fair, there's a surprising number of spots on the body that you can get injured and not die from.
Yeah. So the reason these two idiots decided to stab each other was over a girl.
Oh.
How about that's like the most primitive thing they could do. It's like instead of going and talking to said girl about who she prefers, They decide to duke it out with knives. And the sad thing is, she never knew either of them existed.
Oh my god. Why? Ugh. Time wasted.
The smartest in India.
Yeah?
The smartest to the future of India, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And the press got hold of this. I was happy. I was like, yes, finally something coming out. And then the country laughed at them.
The boys?
At the university as well.
Oh, okay.
For having such idiots as students.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I feel bad.
I can see that happening, and then the university getting yelled at and be like, okay, we're about to get you a class to teach you how to socialize. This class is called speed dating.
No, that doesn't happen. They'll be like, listen here, this never happened. Both of you just hug.
Oh my god.
Just shake hands, hug each other. This never happened.
What?
Yeah, that's how it is. Like,
That's so crazy to me.
It's and the funny thing is, both those kids may become, I don't know, vice president of operations for, let's say, Bank of America or something like that in the next 20 years.
Well, it'd be a funny story to tell, like, hey, guess where I got this scar?
They're not gonna tell about that because it's embarrassing. I tell their wives, yes, they'll be like, yeah, nothing. When I was a kid, I just fell down. That's how I got it.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, so
In America, I guess everyone's dumb here, and we're like,
Nah,
hey, you want to hear about this dumb thing I did? And then they'll laugh about it.
I'd say actually it's a pretty smart thing because, in a way, you don't have a many, like over here, it's like, it's like, I'd say it's a good thing that you guys are pretty open about that. Instead of over here, but they try to hide, they try to bury all their embarrassing stories.
Yeah, no, we really just wear them on the sleeve.
Yeah, see, that's fine.
That's probably why so many people are like, wow, America's so dumb. Just, well.
I won't call it dumb.
We're dumb. We just don't hide it. We just.
See, the thing is, dumb shit happens everywhere.
Yeah, it really does. Like, maybe not everywhere has some alligators being thrown through your drive-through windows, but you know, we're doing our best.
I don't think there's any other country where a monkey accidentally murders a human being.
That's happened in the States.
It's so what happens? A monkey yeeted a brick and killed a man.
Yeah, it hasn't happened accidentally here, but people have decided to own monkeys in the States and have gotten their faces torn off and they've gotten eaten by them. It's, yeah.
Why does anyone want to own a monkey?
I don't know. They're fucking massive and they're scary. I don't, like, why? Give me one good reason why you want either A, a monkey, or B, a chimpanzee. You're gonna
chimpanzees are worse. Chimpanzees are cannibals.
I know they are. They're so bad.
Think about monkeys are. Anyone who says they like monkeys has never met a monkey.
That's fair. My mom actually used to want to own a monkey. She wanted to own like a little marmoset.
Okay, that's actually a more civilized sort of monkey. There's something called a bonnet macaque, or known as the common monkey around these parts.
Okay.
Those little bastards are the worst.
Is it because of how big they are? They can just do more damage?
Oh, no. So the thing about that is, it goes back to the university where two kids stabbed each other. So the monkeys, so it's right next to a forest reserve, and the monkeys are a protected species.
Yeah.
And attacking a monkey, even in self-defense, is a punishable offense.
Okay.
So these monkeys have started their own little cartel where they harass the students.
That's funny.
So what happens? And the monkeys in this university have devolved from monkeys, the same species of monkeys I've seen elsewhere. They don't know how to open a bottle, while elsewhere they know how to open a bottle. So what happened was one of those days when I was working, I was walking around with a kid from the university who was an intern in said company.
Yeah.
And I had a drink. I think it was a Sprite. I had a Sprite in my hand. And then suddenly a monkey just stands right in front of me. I think it was about 3 feet or 4 feet in front of me and points his hand out.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, fuck that monkey. I'm not gonna give it my Sprite. And the guy's like, look up, look behind you. If you don't do it, they'll attack you. Just hand over the Sprite.
You got mugged by a monkey?
Yeah, exactly. I got mugged. And I got mugged by a monkey.
That's so
I think the monkey is protected. See, if I punch the monkey, I go to prison for assaulting a
If
monkey.
I punch the monkey, I go to prison and I get attacked by 4 more monkeys. And I get...
So apparently the kid who who told me to hand it over the monkey told me that something similar happened to him and the monkeys attacked him from behind.
Oh my god.
He said he didn't want the same thing happening. I'm like, well, why the fuck do they have the little monstrosities walking around?
Oh my goodness.
I see, for me, the worst I had were mosquitoes in my university. These guys are monkeys. They have actual monkeys that break into the dorm, steal shit.
That's so fucking good.
Monkeys are wild.
They really... Well, yeah, literally. And... yeah.
And thing about them is that they breed like rats.
I believe it. Especially if they're able to steal the resources from the students, they have a really high food source.
See,
So there's going to be more of them. They don't have any natural predators, so...
They do, but not in this specific environment.
Yeah, not in that area, yeah.
You know what? The best thing is just let out a couple of leopards. Leopards eat monkeys.
Let in a couple leopards? Like, yeah. We need a couple cats to clear out these rats real quick.
Yeah.
Don't mind.
Oh yeah, talking about leopards, there is a university that was quite close to my place. Like, it was, I would say it's quite close to where I studied. Where they had guard dogs, which they let out in the middle of the night. It's like, bloodhounds that they're just released out in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So, like, why'd they release the dogs? Was it just for, like, crime, or...?
Also, so what happens is most universities in India have a curfew system, as in if you're supposed to be in your dorms by set time. Like for me it was 9.
To stop people from sneaking out.
Yeah. So what happens is this university, not mine, this university has this weird thing where men and women aren't supposed to see each other because,
Probably a religious thing, yeah.
I think maybe it's a religious thing, or maybe they think the girls are gonna get pregnant because the guys accidentally touched them.
Yeah.
Handshakes result in pregnancy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, biology 101, handshakes result in pregnancies.
Absolutely.
So what happened was, to stop the boys stop people from going out, they released the hounds. I'm like, why do you have killer hounds in your university? What the fuck is this shit? So a friend of mine, she was studying law in that university, and she's like, yeah, we have hounds. I'm like, why do you have hounds? What if one of you accidentally gets mauled by said hound?
Yeah, what if, like, one of the dogs breaks out?
Okay, so that seems highly unlikely. It's more like, let's say a kid just comes in late, okay? She got permission. She just comes in late and the hounds attack her.
Oh my god.
I'm like...
She'd be better off just spending the night wherever she is.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, and that university, if you're a girl, you're not supposed to leave campus unless your legal guardian comes and picks you up.
Oh wow, really? Even if you're an adult?
Yeah, so the thing about adults among university kids is, when it suits them, they call you an adult. When it's like the classification of an adult or a child fluctuates based on the university's take on certain issues.
Okay.
Like let's say the opposite gender entering your hostel, your dorm. You're not an adult, you're a child. We should take care of you. But you need psychological help. No, you're an adult. You can take care of yourself.
So dumb. Okay.
It's like many of these things are heavily based upon, but I think it's a bad system, but despite that, many of these kids aren't ready to be adults.
That makes sense. It is, you're really young going into
18.
University, and it's probably your first time away from family.
Yeah, you're 18, you're dumb. And the thing is, you meet a lot of weirdos. You meet a lot of fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
So one of my juniors, good friend of mine, she's now in the Big Apple for some reason.
Uh-huh.
So apparently there was this kid who flirted with her, being like, I know how to poison people. Like, weak sauce. You haven't heard good pickup lines yet. This thing's weak.
Oh no.
No, the pickup lines in engineering schools are wild. Another one is, I was top of my class in high school. I'm like, do I look like a cash?
Oh my.
That's like one of the best ones. You know, that's like one of the most popular ones. I was top of my class in high school.
Everyone was top of their class in high school, apparently.
Another thing is we have something like the SAT, but for engineering schools called the joint entrance exam, or JEE for short. So I mean, like my all India rank for AR is all India rank. My ARR for JEE is like this. I'm like, do I look like a kid?
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like really weird. College kids flirting is weird.
It's weird anywhere, I think. Even here, like, it's not like, oh, I was top of my class in high school. It's more like, I've got a sports car. Like,
I see. At least
and then you look at it, and it's one of those, like, not really like a fancy sports car. It's like a car they've modified, and it looks like you can eat cereal on the back of it, and like the paint's peeling off.
I see. At least they have a car. Okay. At least they have some physical assets that you can nick if you know shit hits the fan. You have a getaway ride. You get shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
These guys, they call up Uber. They book an Uber.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, so for funny thing, so there's this guy who everyone hated in university. He was a big fan of the gay slur. You know the one that starts with F.
Okay.
He used to use it on everyone, regardless of regardless of the sexual orientation. He used to use it. So there was this one
That's
chap.
so rude.
Nah, he's an asshole. He's an asshole. He actually got in touch with me recently, and he's weird. So that guy used to like. So one of my friends used to bitch about how the girls only like the bad boys, and no one likes them.
Oh my god, I hate guys like that.
Okay, it gets better. Okay, so what happens is one of the guys decides to sneak. There was this sneak one of the girls out, and maybe I don't know. They do what they do. They're adults. So this guy wants to hitch a ride with them. So she's in the car. He doesn't know that. He's like, "Oh man, can you drop me off here?" He's like, "No, I'm not going that way." It's like, "Which side are you going?" He comes up with some shit. Like, "You know what? Drop me off that side." And this guy keeps giving him hints that there's a lady in the car and he wants to spend time with this girl before something. This guy doesn't get the hint till he opens the door and sits in. Then he realizes she's in there.
Oh no.
Yeah, and my university is actually considered pretty normal. I've seen weirder.
God. I feel like because I don't go to a big university yet. I'm working on transfer credits to get into one. So I go to like a state college, and it's so wild hearing about some of the things that university students decide to do.
Yeah, and the thing is, my university had 3 helipads for some reason. We don't have a good water supply, but we have 3 helipads.
Amazing. It's for the rich kids.
No, it's not for the rich kids. So the president of India visited us once, and he had to
put in.
He had to be transported. So either he can take armored vehicles from the airport, from the nearest Air Force base, which is the next city over, or he can fly. And my university is like, you know what? Let's bring him in a helicopter. It's gonna be cool. And standard protocol dictates that there'll be 3 helicopters. 2 are duds, 1 contains the president or the prime minister. In this case, the president. And
that's so funny.
And the funny thing is, that's where you get the best weed. I never smoked. I was allergic to that, but that's where you get the best weed. You go to the helipad, look left, look right, pass the guy some pocket change. He'll give you something in return.
Oh my gosh.
So my university juniors decided to go for a picnic over there. They decided to have a picnic in Crackhead Alley.
I mean, that's just all of Florida. So I don't really have to go anywhere specific to that.
Think about Florida's. Would you do that in the middle of the night where you could get stabbed in the you could just bleed out on the side of the street after being stabbed and mugged?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna. So the first time I went with them because I'm like, these kids are gonna get themselves killed. I give them I show them around. So these are the coke addicts, these are the stoners, and that's just a weirdo riding a cycle in circles.
Okay.
This is why you kids shouldn't be here. Next day, they go for a picnic. They have like a little picnic basket. They have that what's the thing? The little bedsheet thing they put below.
The blanket. It's just a blanket.
Yeah, blanket. They had a checkered blanket. Yeah, really romantic place. Middle of the night. Yeah, you have a bunch of stoners screaming at the moon.
You're telling me you don't like to go for a nice romantic walk in the field of crackheads?
See, thing is, I prefer going there alone.
Oh, okay. A nice place to go clear your thoughts.
Yeah, perfect. See, the thing is, if all you have to do is cover your hair with the hood, they just assume you're a guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
And see, it's not the crackheads that scare. That was the worst part. We had a huge peafowl population, peacock population.
Oh.
So the thing about peacocks is they sound like babies being strangled.
Oh, I know. There's an area that my family used to go to, and everyone there liked to own peacocks, and so when you drive by.
Why? Who wants
it's a lot? You can buy peacocks as pets here.
Yeah, see that I understand, but who wants a pet peacock?
People who think they're pretty and don't understand how much space they take up and how loud they are.
They're fun to look at, but
only the boys, not even the ladies.
I actually like the ladies. They look like little turkeys. They look like colorful turkeys.
It's so funny.
So the thing is, the peacock starts screaming. I'm like, yes. See, this place is haunted. I try to scare the kids away. I checked this out. This place is haunted. Yeah, I have ghosts screeching.
Okay.
Yeah, talking about haunted, we actually had a ghost story in university. So jokes aside, there was a girl that was murdered in my university back, I think, in 2004 or something like that. Stabbed by her boyfriend. He's serving a life sentence. He deserves it. So apparently, she's supposed to haunt the place I visited the most. I didn't know that till much later. I'm like, why the fuck did I never meet her ghost? I want to see a ghost before I leave. I want to see the ghost.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that, but you get what I mean, right?
It's always fun, though. It's always fun.
I'm like, you know what? I want to meet her because if I meet her, I get to know some shit. So apparently, every university has a ghost story. Every university has.
Yeah. Yours is just more recent.
I would say it's more real because she existed as a person before this entire ghost thing came up.
Yeah, it's not just an urban legend at this point. It's an actual event that happened.
Yeah, and thing is, the motivation behind the murder was pretty dumb. If I can't have you, no one can. It's one of those stories.
Yeah.
I'm like, big sauce. I'm like, pathetic. Pathetic. This is why you murdered her. And the thing, okay, so for full context, her family said, okay, you can marry her, but let her graduate. Oh, that's what the press claims.
So they had permission to get married, but he killed her anyway.
He killed her because he couldn't wait.
What?
I'm like, pathetic. You insult crime.
Oh,
you're an insult to crime.
That's so fucking crazy.
You do it in broad light, pathetic.
Oh my god. I've had cookie. Unfortunately, I'm getting so exhausted.
Cool.
I
have to head off to bed. What's the time? It's 2:17.
Oh my gosh, cookie.
I stay up till 5 on weekends. You know, I'm just gonna wave goodbye to my family when they go for this wedding.
Okay, that's right.
Okay, mate, it was fun having you on, Crilly.
It was so much fun. I love all the topics we touched on. I'm gonna go take a nap for my stuff I gotta do later.
Cool. And then
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for joining me.
Of course.
Cool.